and welcome to the stream. First, just want to make sure everyone can hear me. We all good?
I can hear.
I can hear you.
Well, welcome everybody. This is the first stream of 2026, if I'm not mistaken. So happy, very late New Year to everybody. We have obviously two guests, as you can see, joining us right now. One more will be joining later, so I'll give everyone the opportunity to introduce themselves, starting with Vinny.
Hello, how's it going?
You could feel free to plug whatever social medias you'd like, Vinny.
The only social media I have that I mainly care about is my Instagram, ll_Vinny. I have a couple things on there, nothing crazy though. You'll find me in a bunch of other posts elsewhere though.
As his Instagram bio says, he is the ultimate background character.
Yes, I am.
And Jason.
Hello, I'm Jason, and let's get this started. I don't know what to say. I'm tired. Let's go.
All right.
Oh,
well,
not the double Falcons flight hats.
Yeah, we'll get to Falcons flight in a minute. This was not planned, by the way. I also have my Six Flags Riyadh shirt on.
Let's say
I almost wore that shirt too. First up, we are going to talk Unload Station Discord server. So if you guys have not already joined the server, please do. I just sent the link in the chat. So if you haven't joined, go ahead. And I do have to give a special shout out to #1 Intimate Idiot for being the first person to reach level 100 in the Unload Station Discord server. So round of applause for you. Great job. If you want to challenge the Intimate Idiot for the top placing spot in the server, go ahead and be active. It's always active in there, whether it's VC or text channels. There's always something happening in there. And that segues nicely into the next thing I want to talk about, which is the Planet Coaster / No Limits competition. So if you guys are in the Unload Station, you probably already know about this. But if you're not, I'm going to show you guys what you could be doing in participating in Antonio's creation for our new Planet Coaster 2 or
Colin,
No Limits 2. All three are.
It is going in and out.
Are available
Colin,
for this.
We cannot hear
yes.
You. You are. All
right. Well, then I will stop streaming that. That'll probably improve this. But hopefully you saw what I was trying to talk about, which is the new competition in the Unload Station for Planet Coaster, No Limits, all of them. If you haven't joined, that link that I sent in the chat will bring you directly to the channel for the competition if you are interested. So be sure to check that out. Now we have that out of the way. Let's talk Six Flags Qiddiya. Now, Jason, I feel bad because I know you have not gone, but Vinny and I both went. We went on separate trips. So, Vinny, I'll let you talk first. What do you think of Six Flags Qiddiya?
I really like the park. It's a Six Flags park that's like actually like themed. It has like set themes. It's not like just all over the place. The staff was super nice. And the park was absolutely deserted the 3 days we were there. We kind of went like in between like holidays, I guess you could say. Because the week before it was like crazy busy. The week I went, it was like completely deserted. And then they were telling me there's something going on the week after where the park's going to be super busy. So we kind of got lucky when we went. We took the public transportation option, which was opposite of Colin, who drove there. I think the public is honestly a lot better because you just take the metro over and then the bus takes you just straight into the park. They'll stop at like the parking lot for like a second, but then they'll just take you right into the park. So you don't have to like line up and get on one of those buses to get to the park if you park your car.
How late did the metro run?
Until midnight. So essentially when the park closed. So after we were done with the park, we'd take the bus back to Jeddah Road, and then we would just Uber from there.
Okay, got it. So other than the park itself, I think we have to talk about Falcon's flight. You know, the one coaster everybody really wants to know about. How was it for you, Vinny?
I loved it. It was what I thought it would be. It's me personally, it's my new #1 just because of how it's designed, the whole thing. Like just the build up, going up on top, and then going full speed around the park. You can't beat it. It's simply nothing else can compare to it.
I think that really is the best way to describe that ride. There really is nothing else that compares to it. I personally do not put it at #1. I know a lot of people have been asking me about that. I just feel that I'm doing a disservice to rides like Stardust and Gwazi if I put it over them, because Falcon's Flight, the 1/3 of the ride that is nuts, is absolutely insane. But the rest of the ride, I mean, there are quite a few dull moments, but I do think everything does serve a purpose on that ride. And the park as a whole, one of the best Six Flags parks. I mean, genuinely, there's so much more to that park beyond Falcon's Flight. And I truly think Falcon's Flight draws you in, and the rest of the rides and experiences there really keep you there because there's so much great stuff. You have 2 awesome dark rides, a really diverse selection of rides, some really, really solid coasters, and probably the best theming out of any Six Flags park, if I'm being honest. It looks fantastic. And like Vinny said, we drove. And if you want to hear a little bit more about that, you're going to want to watch the Qiddiya vlogs as well as the trip analysis from the financial perspective. If you're curious how much the trip costs, I sat down and broke down exactly how much everything costs from the trip. And honestly, I didn't think it was that bad overall. I do encourage you all to try and make it out there and check it out, if for nothing else than just for Falcon's Flight. But I would be remiss if I didn't talk about all the parks that I visited in the UAE. I started off all the way up at IMG, going to IMG, of course, Storm Coaster, Global Village. Then we did Motion Gate Dubai, Real Madrid World, all 3 Yas Island parks, which is Ferrari World, Warner Brothers World, and SeaWorld. And I think that's all the parks, plus a few cultural experiences as well. We did the Al Marmoom Oasis, which is an overnight camping experience in the middle of the desert, which is genuinely one of the coolest things I've ever done. I encourage you guys to check out some of the stuff beyond just coasters because there is some really cool stuff there. And we also went to the top of the Burj Khalifa, which was so, so cool. No building even close to being as tall as that one. So please, if you do go out there, try everything, do a little bit of, coasters, do some tourism, do some just genuine exploring. It's a really, really great place. Vinny, how was your experience in the UAE?
It was pretty cool. We mainly stuck to the Yas Island parks and like some mall coasters and Global Village. The night I spent at Global Village was like really cool because the place is like, it's like a very large Epcot.
That's a good way to describe it.
Instead of like being like actual roller coasters, it's more of like a fair style, but like that's like not the whole thing there. The whole thing is like seeing like all like the countries, all the cultures. That's what you go for essentially.
Exactly. It's a really, really cool place. Definitely don't miss that. And I do have to jump gears a little bit. We got a super chat that I did not talk about yet, so sorry about that. Thank you, Christian, for the super chat. Rest in peace, Dinosaur and Animal Kingdom. Also, next month, I'll be going to Silver Dollar City for the first time. Hyped for Outlaw Run and Time Traveler. Jason thinks very highly of Time Traveler.
I do.
Isn't that your number one?
It is my number one, and
there you go.
It's a great ride.
Yes, it is a great ride. We have another super chat. Thank you, Rich, Theme Park Motivation, for the super chat. We spent our time at Six Flags Qiddiya with Rich. It was so much fun. Thank you, Rich. God bless you as well. But back to the pre-stream topics. We will switch gears from Qiddiya because we've already talked at length about Qiddiya, and I feel bad for Jason. So let's talk about one of the new bits of news in the coaster industry, which is Fast and Furious Hollywood, aka Orlando Drift, which was just announced about 2 weeks ago. What are we thinking about this? How do we feel about the name? We don't know anything about the layout, but what do we think about the name and the theme? Jason's not happy.
So Fast and Furious, I was fine with, but like I thought they would come up with like a different name for it instead of just reusing the Hollywood Drift name. I don't really like it personally. I feel like, especially with it being in the New York section where they're advertising it. So we'll see how it lines up with everything, how they're going to fit it in. I wish they would have just came up with a different name though, like Fast and Furious something else.
I agree, Jason.
So it makes sense from a business perspective. You can use the same logo. You can bring in the same actors once and use the same spiels, the same audio, same pre-show, both coasts. So that makes sense. Same merchandise, everything. However, it is lazy, very lazy. In a time where we're all tired of cloning everything, having the same name without any different thing beside we can call it West and East. It's very, very lazy, especially when there's better themes, just like Vinny said. Another Hollywood themed roller coaster being in a New York area is lazy, very lazy. But,
I mean, I'm not huge on it. I knew from the very beginning it was going to be Fast and Furious, and I think people who thought otherwise were kind of just in denial, which is fair. Not everybody loves the Fast and Furious franchise. I know I personally think it's been milked to death already. and I think they should let it go. But, you know, there's a lot you could do cool with this. But like you said, calling it Hollywood Drift when it's in Orlando just does not make any sense, in my opinion. I think they definitely should have called it something different. Zach, welcome to the stream. Radzad Productions.
What's up, guys?
How do you feel about Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift in Orlando?
Oh, I think it's like, I think it's kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie. Like, why are we having a Hollywood? Isn't it in the New York section also?
Yes.
Yes.
And I was gonna say, if it was in like a Hollywood section, then like cool, that's fine. But why is it in the New York section?
Yeah,
It's dumb.
I agree. And
But-
Jason, to your point, because you were talking about how they can clone spiels, they can reuse like the actors doing their scenes. Who's to say that they're not going to have two completely different storylines for the rides? Because from what I'm hearing about the Hollywood version, well, that's actually in Hollywood, that one's going to kind of be like set like you're going through a backstage, like you're filming the movie, from what I've heard. But I don't see them doing that for Orlando because there aren't any rides that really do that in Orlando anymore, especially not over there.
Well, Mummy is still themed that way.
Yes, but right next door to Fast and Furious is going to be Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Fallon, it takes itself a little more seriously, I guess. Like, it doesn't go all in on the movie set kind of theme. And Rip Ride Rocket most certainly did not. It was completely off the wall in that regard. It had nothing to do with movies. But I am curious what they're going to do with it. Plus, we do know that they're two completely different layouts, so at least they're not clones, which is nice. It's not like the Flight of Fear coasters. These are actually two completely separate, distinct rides. But I think something as simple as calling it Fast and Furious Orlando Drift or Manhattan Drift or just something other than Hollywood Drift really would have gone a long way. But hey, who are we to complain about a massive new Intamin multi-launch coaster coming to the Universal Orlando Resort? Like another one of them. I mean, they already have two excellent Intamin multi-launches. So a third one plus Stardust Racers, can't complain.
That's it. I was just at Orlando, Universal on Wednesday, looking at the construction site. It's pretty big. Like, it kind of was crazy how like they were able to take Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket's plot of land and like expand on it.
Because it goes right up to City Walk, right?
Yeah, it goes right up to City Walk. They have like construction walls up there, and like if you go up to like Hard Rock Cafe, I think it's right there. You get a really good view of the construction site because the wall is only like this big when you're like up on the stairs right next to it on the side. So you can get like a really good view of the construction right there. It's looks pretty nice, to be honest, so far, even though it's just like a bunch of footers right as of right now. Can't wait to see it go vertical.
Yeah, I am really curious to see when this ride opens. We know that the one in Hollywood obviously wound up getting delayed, but that's because that one has a very difficult plot to work with. It's all built on this really, really kind of dangerous terrain, honestly. Well, not dangerous for the coaster, but dangerous for somebody to try to traverse. That's why they have escalators everywhere. So I am curious how quick they're able to get the one in Orlando up, and I'm curious if the one in Orlando is going to be better. Honestly, I think the one in Hollywood, at least the speed it's running at right now, looks really fun. I don't know that I'd say it looks like best coaster in the world contender at all, but I do think the one in Orlando has a decent shot at that. I just hope they differentiated enough from Velocicoaster so they don't feel too like similar to each other, because Velocicoaster is great, but I think having two distinct experiences would be nice. But go ahead, Vinny.
Yeah, I just think, what is it? Even if it is sort of similar, you know, the studios needs like a standout ride. They've needed it for a while. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, while it was an okay ride for me. I thought I liked it towards the end. It wasn't really a standout. It was kind of just there.
Yeah, that's fair. I kind of got a lot of love towards the end because, well, that's what always happens with rides that close. But I always thought it was fun. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but I thought there could have been a lot better for Universal.
Yeah.
But speaking of new coasters, let's talk about Great Adventure, because I know everyone's been going wild over this because we're finally starting to see stuff happen at Great Adventure. We had the teaser. We know that the crane is going to be at the park in March, starting in March at least. And I need to clarify this because I've been battling with so many people in the comments. The crane is not 577 feet tall. If you read closely and actually look at what it says, that is including the height above sea level of the site. So it's 450 plus, 127 above ground or above sea level. So that's how they get the 577. The crane is not 577 feet tall. So
It would be a very oddly specific crane height.
yes, it would be very oddly specific. You're not going to find one that's not in like 25-foot intervals, I would think. But considering that the crane height is 450 feet, I wouldn't expect this ride to be any taller than 410 feet at an absolute max. Personally, I'm not expecting it to go over 400. Again, this is just all speculation. There's no one that really knows right now. But it is exciting to know that we are going to see stuff happening soon. We obviously know that there's been multiple shipments of supports already arrived at the park, and I'd imagine track will be arriving fairly soon. So we'll try to cover that as much as we can. And once we find out more information or hear of anything happening at the park with the coaster, you guys will hear it here first. But just wanted to put that out there. As far as anything else happening at Great Adventure, really a little too early in the off season to know right now. We are keeping a close eye on the boardwalk because it's very clear that most of that is getting demoed and completely flattened, which I'm so happy about. And hopefully we'll see something happen for 2026. Now that the coaster is pretty much confirmed to be opening in 27, I would love to see a couple new flat rides or even just a new flat ride. I think that would be a great touch for 2026, but we'll have to wait and see. We will be hearing from Ryan Eldridge himself, who is the PR manager for Great Adventure, this upcoming weekend, actually, at East Coaster. He will be there doing a presentation, presumably for Great Adventure in Dorney. So hopefully we'll get some new information from that, which is going to be very exciting. But other than that, coaster world news. Do you guys have anything you've seen or heard in the coaster world that you'd like to share?
Other than like what's being covered here, not really. I would say I just don't know. So one of my main interests is when Hollywood Drift in Hollywood opens, because I would like to actually get out and try that because it looks very unique.
It does look really, really unique. Definitely no other Intamin coaster quite like that one. But I'm thinking we don't have anything else to report on. I'm sure we'll see stuff come up in the Q&A as we go through. So that means it is time to scroll all the way back to the top of the chat, start off with the first question and work our way down. As always, super chats do get priority, so they get to jump the queue and get answered as quickly as possible. So we're going to start off with this question from Jangles. Hey everyone, question for the group. Which movie theme would you pick to replace Fast and Furious Supercharged? I mean, I would personally just rip out the ride completely, but I imagine they'll probably do a reskin, and I think something that could work really well is tying it into Diagon Alley and retheming it as like a night bus attraction. I mean, again, I really don't like the ride system, but if they're going to keep it, I think that's probably the best use for it.
I would say, yeah, like, what is it? What you said, like a Diagon Alley expansion, that'd be pretty cool, because I feel like Diagon Alley is very small. This is coming from someone who's never watched Harry Potter movies, how it's supposed to be. So just throwing that out there. Jason's not happy about
they're
that
getting
one.
released this year. You're going.
I've also never seen the Harry Potter movies.
All right, both of you.
long
It's getting released. Every movie in theater.
I would like to see an expansion on that, though, because currently it's like very tight in there. And I feel like if they were to expand it out more, it'd like help it out a little bit, maybe. I'm not sure how that would do it, but I'd like to see an expansion to that, add like another ride.
And it's pretty agreeable. Any differing opinions? Crickets.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even remember. Wait, Hollywood Drifts and is in studios, right? It's not in islands, right?
Yeah, Fast and Furious is in the San Francisco area.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say I've never been to studios before, so I've only been to islands. I've never actually been to studios, but hopefully that'll change. Maybe this year, I don't know, but I kind of agree with the fact that it could be a Diagon Alley expansion, or what they should do is just tear down the ride and build something new there instead. But as far as a movie theme goes, I have no idea. I mean, if it's in the San Francisco area, maybe they could just. I mean, with the new Fast and Furious coaster coming, it would kind of be weird to do a redundant Fast and Furious theme, but I don't know. I feel like they could have given that IP a little bit more justice with a better dark ride or something. But I mean, it's going to get it now with the new coaster.
True.
Well, I say just make it a modern version of Disaster, really easy CGI, throw something over it, and just it works. Nostalgia's in, and Universal's using nostalgia in everything right now. They're even teasing bringing back old rides constantly as like throwaways. So who knows? Maybe they will just do a cheap retheme using CGI, using the same walls, same ride system, and make it like Disaster. Who knows?
But Jason, that's not an IP.
Actually, it is. but
technically.
I know.
Exactly.
So we do have a super chat. I'm going to jump to that really quick. Thank you, Colin, for the super chat. Nice name, by the way. From a civil engineering perspective, with a 450-foot crane, this coaster really can't be any taller than about 420 feet. Guessing it will just break 400. Yeah, I think you're spot on there. And something to keep in mind is if the coaster is what we are thinking it is, what the heavy rumor is, the tower could wind up being taller than the track, or at least the top height of the track is not going to be the height riders reach. So it's a very important thing to keep in mind if it does wind up being the heavily rumored shuttle coaster. Just keep that in mind. You won't necessarily reach that very top height of the tower like you did with Ka. Let's see. Next question. Where do you guys think the low to mid-tier parks in the Six Flags chain will be in 10 years? Well, we just had that question kind of answered because 6 parks, right? Were, well, you can look at the trademark website, do yourself a search for Enchanted Parks, and you will see the 6 parks that are more than likely leaving the Six Flags chain towards the end of the year. Enchanted Parks seems to be a new chain that is kind of spawned from an existing company, and they have gone ahead and seemingly purchased the either operating rights or operating lease, I don't know, or just flat out bought the parks from Six Flags. And that includes St. Louis, Worlds of Fun, Great Escape, Schlitterbahn in which one? One of them. And now I'm forgetting the other 2 parks. It'll come to me.
I believe the Schlitterbahn in Texas is the one.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Is it New Braunfels or Galveston?
I think
it was Galveston.
I think it was Galveston.
I think that sounds right. And there's one more park, Michigan's Adventure. That's right. That's the one.
Yes.
The one that everyone always forgets. So those ones, they are going to become Enchanted Parks. Well, I'm sure we'll hear an actual announcement about that soon. This is just based off trademarks right now. But just keep that in mind that you'll probably want to get to those parks before your Six Flags pass maybe doesn't work at them next year. Let's see. Next question up is going to be... here we go. I just realized that Falcon's Flight has the Ka effect. It brings people in to experience the other great rides. Yeah, I mean, you can see that with any of the coasters from the Coaster Wars, from Magnum in '89 all the way to Ka in '05, even Formula Rossa, if you want to count that, in 2010. Any gigantic monster coaster that just breaks all the records, that is a major, major draw for any crowds. And it's a shame we don't really see that anymore. That's kind of died off as we've left really entering the 2010s. It kind of stopped. I mean, we had a few big ones like Fury and other things like that, but otherwise we haven't seen coasters like this. We probably won't.
Yeah, I honestly feel like, definitely not the world's tallest anytime soon. Although maybe they could do an argument of the world's tallest freestanding coaster. Yeah. However, there is a good chance that we could see the world's fastest coaster happen again. Because it's really not that hard to, put an LSM, a bunch of LSMs, get it up to 160 or something like that miles an hour, and then just put a bunch of fat trims right at the end of that launch, and boom,
kind of like Formula Rossa.
Yeah.
They both do it.
Even more ridiculous than Formula Rossa. Just like it could be a similar theme too. It could be like a race car theme. It could be a NASCAR coaster for all I care. And then just do a hard bank left turn at the end of the launch, and just do a giant helix, and then boom, world's fastest coaster.
That sounds a lot like Formula Rossa, just without
just a lot more sloppy.
Yeah, exactly. And something else with Falcons that I forgot to talk about. I really wonder if it's actually going to maintain that speed record for its whole life. And the reason I say that is because the way the coaster is designed, it does not need to go 155 miles an hour. It could go a lot less than that and still complete the layout no problem, because there are fixed trims on that camelback. So I wonder if maybe, this is a hypothetical, of course, the ride just opened a month ago, but if it does wind up having issues where it cannot continuously get up to that speed, or it's just proven to be too much of a wear on either the track or the wheels, who's to say they don't lower the speed of that final launch and get rid of the trims? That way they could launch it at maybe, 130 miles an hour, something like that. And yeah, it would lose the fastest coaster record to Formula Rossa again, but it would probably improve the longevity of the ride. Now, again, like I said, ride has only been open for a month, but I feel like they kind of intentionally designed it like that so that that could be an option down the line.
So I want to add on to that. So I feel like if they were to do that, they'd wait. Like, let's say, like they'll hypothetically lose the speed record to like a different ride. Like, then they would consider doing that. But I feel like they're going to try and maintain the record the best they can. And when I was there on the second day, there was towards the end of the night, it was getting like a couple faults at that third launch. I happened to be on one of those trains where the launch just didn't fully kick in, and I got like almost all the way up on the tower and rolled back on the launch. And then
crazy.
And we
Bro, you gotta launch the roll back. We get it. We get it.
Yeah, and was able to experience the crazy swing launch, which, if you like Sandy's backwards launch, that the launch going up the cliff is crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine that is probably crazy.
Plus, going uphill, the amount of extra force those LSMs need to be putting in is just crazy. The fact that Intamin was able to make that work is wild.
The lightning rod effect.
I know, right?
Yeah. We do have another super chat. Thank you, LeoZone27, for the super chat. When do you think Six Flags will announce their 2027 lineup, especially the 2 delayed coasters? Honestly, I really don't know. And I don't know if they know either, because they have teasers going out. So I think that's to kind of lay the groundwork that they're going to announce stuff eventually. But like thinking about this from a business perspective, right? How can you really do this in a way that makes sense? Because if these rides are not going to open until 27, but everybody already knows they're either happening or knows what they are. I mean, do you announce them now and just get it out of the way, but then have people thinking, oh, I'll just wait until next year to go because that's when the new ride will be open? Or do you try to play coy until the summer and announce it then, which I don't think they really can, especially with rides like the Magic Mountain Coaster or the Great Adventure Coaster, which will definitely be beyond vertical at that point, probably pretty far along in construction, and people know what they are. So you'll kind of lose that punch of the announcement. So I really don't know. Personally, if I were them, I would just get it out of the way now. I do think it was good that they didn't announce them for 2026 to then have to delay them. I think that would have probably been worse for their sake than doing this, announcing them now. But I still don't think there's really like a best situation for this because they kind of put themselves in a difficult spot.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to probably announce things in like, I have a feeling they're definitely going to do it after Memorial Day. And then maybe, so that way people will like, you know, still start trickling into the parks and get their season passes or whatever, get their tickets for the year. But then come like early June, maybe mid-June, we'll see, you know, an announcement from all these parks. And they'll announce like a huge like season pass sale like right after it too. So it can like lock in even more, you know, guaranteed guests coming in next year. So I don't know, that's just my personal thoughts on it, but I feel like you guys probably know better than I do.
So Six Flags always likes to tie in announcements with construction updates. And as you know, we're starting to get teasers from Great Adventure. We already got teasers from Magic Mountain. Those announcements are going to come within the next maximum 4 months because if they want to do a teaser campaign, you cannot do a teaser campaign without already announcing the brand of the ride because brand recognition is everything in marketing. So you're going to see it much quicker than Labor Day, which is what some people in the chat are saying.
Yeah, it will definitely not be Labor Day. I could guarantee that. I think the latest, absolute latest would be Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And another thing I think they should consider is the fact that some of these rides that were delayed, they maybe weren't necessarily delayed a whole year, but maybe half a year, right? Like say they were anticipating opening them for opening day 2026. They might still actually be able to open in 2026, just later than they wanted to, like say August, September, October. So something I think the chains should seriously consider is introducing a kind of, you know, preview option for pass holders as a major pass sale where you open the ride early in say September, October during Fright Fest and offer it just to pass holders as an extra incentive for them to get a pass, which would then have them guaranteed come back next year because why wouldn't they? They bought a pass. Plus, you're getting all those extra people in for this season as opposed to completely losing them because they were going to wait for the ride to open next year. So if anyone from corporate is watching, I think you should probably take notes because you should have done that with Flash and they didn't. And I think that it'd kind of be a missed opportunity if they decided to not do that again.
I was going to say, especially at Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
They're not 365 anymore, but they're still open all year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so like it would make perfect sense to get, you know, if the coaster's like perfectly pretty much ready by November, you could do like technical rehearsal for whatever that Vekoma coaster is. November, December. You know, for Great Adventure, not so much, especially now that it's closing in November. I feel like you know, you should probably just I don't know, wait.
I still think you
wait
could get
for
Fright Fest out of it, though.
Yeah, I feel like you can get Fright Fest out of it, but knowing how things get handled sometimes, I have a feeling that probably wouldn't happen. But that's just me personally.
Fair.
If they're able to like was it complete construction of the whole thing by the time the crane's gone and able to program the ride just fine by like let's say September, October, you could probably get something out of it, but I don't know. Who knows?
Because then you also have to think too that for any of these rides, right, you're gonna have to train an entire crew of operators, get everybody certified, all of that. And do you really want to go through all of that for just a couple of months? I mean, we've seen them do it before when like something say opens late. That's not a new addition per se, but opens way later in the season than it normally would, and they'll still train everybody, even if it's only for a couple of weeks. We've seen them do it before, so
yeah,
I wouldn't entirely rule it out.
For Cyborg, when that was still around, I think they trained the crew for the first time the entire year. I think 6 days before the park was closing. So they could do it. Maybe not so much with an open with a brand new ride, but with like a ride that they already know how to operate. But we're if we're getting what we think we're getting, this is gonna be the first of its technically the first of its kind. So it's gonna have a lot of technical and training issues at first, just kind of like Flash did.
Right. Let's see. Next up, do you think Falcon's flight went down when you were there? And do you think the ride is susceptible for some downtime? I'm trying to process what you're asking. It did go down. I saw it down, if that's what you're asking, and it's absolutely susceptible to downtime. I think the ride is in desperate need of like a full 1, 2, 3 week long closure so that Intamin can come in and really work the kinks out. It was very clear from at least my visit and from what I heard from everybody there that the ride just was not really ready yet. I mean, it could operate no problem, but it kept having a lot of sensor issues. There was issues with the LSMs. The train lights weren't working. There were a lot of issues with the ride, considering it had just opened. And I did think that it could use a downtime. And I think they'll probably do it around, I forget the holiday they have coming up. But we heard that that's what they're eyeing right now, to have it closed for that. As for my favorite park/ride in the UAE, favorite ride is easily going to be Manta at SeaWorld. And favorite park is maybe also SeaWorld. I really enjoyed Warner Brothers as well. It's just too small. I was disappointed by Ferrari World personally. It wasn't what I was hoping it to be, but SeaWorld and Warner Brothers are a step above a lot of other parks I've seen.
Okay. So when I was at Qiddiya, so day 1 and day 3 for me, Falcons had a delayed opening, but like basically once the ride was up, it was up the whole day. I heard someone say like Intamin had the ride those days, but I don't know where I got that from or who was saying it. It could not be true. I don't know, but like it was delayed for that time. But like once they got it up, and like the second day it was basically up all day until the end of the night when they was having like the launch 3 issues. With going with the UAE, since I also went there, Ferrari World, I will have to go with Colin. It did disappoint me. Like the only thing that really was there, like Formula Rossa. Mission Ferrari is cool. However, the capacity is like awful on it. So you have to have like rope drop that and like watch it because it's also like unreliable. So you kind of have to like really watch that ride. With Warner Brothers and SeaWorld's definitely my favorite because like it shows like what you're able to do with like the animal theme. Like just going all over the place, exploring the whole thing. It's kind of crazy what they can do. If they had like one more coaster, I think it would be like the best park ever. Manta's really good though. Warner Brothers is really good as well. It just desperately needs expansion, which I know they're working on. But when they get to that expansion, I think it'll be like on the same tier as SeaWorld. My favorite probably was Formula Rossa, but Manta's like pretty close.
Okay. I will say too, I got to give a shout out to Motion Gate. Specifically, the DreamWorks area of Motion Gate was genuinely fantastic, especially their How to Train Your Dragon area. I think that video is coming out tomorrow, actually, or the day. Yeah, tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. But their How to Train Your Dragon area is kind of on par with Epic's, honestly. And their mock-powered coaster, I forget what it's called, Wing Gliders, I think it's called. Fantastic. So well themed. I hope we see more of those rides. Anyways, though, Falcon's flight looks better than every RMC. I disagree. See, Falcon's Flight, as I said earlier, is a really difficult ride to kind of stack up to other rides because the sensation of going over 100 miles an hour for as long as you are in that second half is indescribable. Like you can ride Millennium Force and feel the quote unquote force of the speed, which is nothing compared to Falcon's Flight. And even riding like Ka or Formula Rosa, it's completely different feeling. So like in that regard, yeah, Falcon's Flight is kind of unbeatable. But am I going to say I like that better than getting launched out of my seat on Air Force One? I don't think I can.
Falcon's Flight's currently in that number one because it like does it the way like Colin was saying, it does something that no other ride does, and like that's kind of what I like, and I like the whole design around it. But like every RMC, that just depends on who you ask and what they prefer.
Yeah, that is true. And I will say about Falcon's Flight, because people have been criticizing it, the first half, the only really good part of the first half is like that first airtime hill gives some decent floater, and the wave turn is actually really good. Everything else in the first half doesn't really do anything. And then at the top of the cliff, same thing. It really doesn't do anything. I like the little outer bank, but otherwise you're up there just to kind of, flex that you're 600 feet in the air. That's really the whole point of that ride, of that section of the ride. And given that there's two pretty significant sections of the ride that kind of just don't do anything, I have to keep that in mind when I rank it personally. But I totally understand, the gushing over the second half, or the third half, whatever you want to call it. This is crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, from a perspective of a person who is very much like, I'm very much like, yeah, I really only care about the forces of the ride and like if it's smooth or and theming and visuals are just a bonus for me. But like to me, if like a ride does like absolutely nothing but has like incredible theming or it's just like all about the visuals, so like a ride like Guardians, I think it's just okay. No, nothing crazy or nothing like top 10 worthy for me, like some people. But Falcon's Flight is definitely one of those rides where it's all about the visuals and just like the fact that it even exists. And with the ride that is that long, especially in the second half where it's just that fast, and in a country that's never even experienced roller coasters, really, or at least roller coasters to that scale, having that ride be not super intense is probably a smart move on everybody's part. And also, not to mention, just the fact that the ride goes that fast and that tall and is just that fast for that long and has to deal with all those temperature changes and stuff like that. Because I'm sure Vinny can attest, and so can you, Colin, about the temperature change from the bottom of the cliff to the top of the cliff. It seems like everybody's saying that there's a pretty decent, jump in temperature or drop in temperature.
When you go up. Plus, from night and day, it goes from super hot to cold.
To freezing cold. Yeah, exactly. So it's like with the new wheels that they haven't used on any other coasters yet, it needs to kind of be forceless and not do anything, or else the wheels are just going to like explode every cycle.
Yeah, and even with the way it's designed, the wheels still have issues. It's having an i305 effect where they're constantly changing wheels.
Yeah, I mean i305 is even worse, but like, I think Intamin kind of nailed it with the Stratas. Ka had its wheel issues, Dragster had its wheel issues, but like they were much more reliable and didn't tear through wheels like these coasters that just sustained speed for that long did. That's the unfortunate reality. I mean, I don't know what Formula Rosa is like, but that's the unfortunate reality about these coasters that just go that fast for that long and sustain speed, is that they just rip through wheels like crazy.
Yeah.
One thing I will say though, at least the 3 days I was there, every single day they always started the day with at least 4 trains on the track. Now, with how yes,
yeah, we only had 3. I never saw it run with more than 3.
Yeah, we had 4 on our 3 days, but the park was like really dead to where they dropped the station and just stuck with 2 because that's all it really needed. It was still a walk on with just 2. It was kind of crazy. I was able to catch 25 rides in my 3 days.
Wow. Let's see. Is Falcon's Flight the most intense launch you've experienced? No, not even close. I'm sorry, but no. I will take a hydraulic launch over the third launch on Falcon, but the sensation of it is unlike any of the others, and it makes it one of my favorite launches. But I'd be lying if I said it was the most intense launch. Ka's launch is easily still the most intense launch I've been on. After that, it's probably Dragster and Formula Rosa, but those two are like significantly less intense than Ka's for me. And then maybe Falcon, I don't know. Because the thing is, too, Falcon kind of cheats because you're already going like 80 miles an hour and then it just boosts you. So fact that you're already going fast, plus you're going downhill, I don't know that I can really call it the most, even a contender for the most intense launch, but it is one of the best.
See,
Yeah,
I like the argument with the Kaz launch. However, with Dragsters and Rosa's launch, those aren't really as intense, but like Falcons, like even though you're already going 80 miles an hour, just blast you, you're going downhill still, so it's like a crazy feeling.
Oh yeah.
And like you're just gaining speed, like you're like gaining speed unnaturally, essentially. That's why that's my personal favorite launch, other just above Kaz.
But Vinny can be your personal favorite, but is it the most intense? Because that's the question.
See, it was very intense still. Like it was very intense still. It is my personal favorite.
But it wasn't more intense than Ka.
See, it's very close, but like Kaz was like crazy, like intense. So it was like you could. I think Kaz probably more intense, I will say, but Falcons is still my personal favorite launch.
And I see people asking about Accelerator. I have not ridden Accelerator personally. That's why I didn't mention it.
I don't think
any of us. What about Shellraiser? Shellraiser's got the most intense.
Shellraiser does have a very good launch.
Shellraiser and Sandy's launches are for no reason incredible.
We do have another super chat. Thank you, Starlet, for the super chat. Great Adventure could have the best shuttle duo.
I think that's something to brag about.
Oh, we have the best rides. Let's go.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Freeze is still better than Flash. So
wait.
David Boomerang.
That's crazy. Mr. Freeze on a boomerang is not going to be better than a better boomerang and the America's second tallest or tallest coast. It's not going to be the tallest coaster in America, but like you know what I mean.
I mean, here if we had Chiller still and what we're getting, maybe.
Bro, that's crazy.
Wait. So we talking Fiestas or we talking St. Louis? Talking St. Louis. You think an Aero?
What are you? I'm talking about Mr. Freeze.
Yes, but he said.
But you said it's a duo. It's a duo.
No, I'm saying that Mr. Freeze is better than Flash.
Oh well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like way better.
Well, we thought you meant like the better duos at St. Louis, which
No.
Boomerang.
No.
I was gonna say, I'm like, dude, what are you smoking?
Yeah, that's what me and Toby were like, what?
I should have phrased that a little better.
Yeah, you should have. It was really funny.
I mean, whatever this, assuming we're getting what we all think we're getting, what? I guarantee you, it probably will be the best shuttle coaster in the world.
What are we getting, Toby?
There's a good chance.
I don't know. What are we getting, Jason?
I don't know.
All right, next up. Which model do you prefer, dive coasters or wing coasters? Wing coasters by a mile. However, the best wing coaster, actually the best two dive coasters are both better than the best wing coasters I've been on.
Wait, hold on. I have to see if I agree with you real quick.
Griffin and Yukon Striker.
Oh, I've never ridden Yukon. No, but I will agree that Griffin is very good, but I don't know if it's better than Gatekeeper.
Yeah, I agree.
I've been on all the North American wing coasters. Wild Eagle is probably my favorite, as crazy as that sounds. I love Wild Eagle.
That's my least favorite.
Because it's also a hyper coaster with inversions.
But like its drop is only like 110 feet, so like it's not.
Yeah, but it's got a really cool layout. I do love Gatekeeper. Thunderbird's great. X-Flight's really good. Raptera's Raptera. Yeah, I do like the wing coaster model overall better though.
I did check my rankings, and I'm gonna have to agree with Colin where Griffin and Shikra are over Gatekeeper for me.
Very fair.
Not by much, but I don't know. I feel like Gatekeeper's still an incredible ride, so I'm not gonna slack it for that. But I don't know. I think Griffin's a little bit more intense, and Shikra's also pretty good. But I also haven't ridden them in a while.
Yeah, for me and Vinny visited Cedar Point this year, and I got to ride Gatekeeper for my first time. And me and Vinny both agree that Gatekeeper is phenomenal and way better than Millennium Force. So obviously, Gatekeeper is better than Griffin because if it's better than Millennium Force, it has to be better than Griffin. So right, Vinny?
See, I love Gatekeeper, and I will say it's better than Millennium. And like, you might call me a hypocrite for someone who doesn't like Millennium and like loves Falcon's Flight. But what is that?
I'm the same way, though.
I'm the same way.
I like Griffin and Yukon Striker for like their own reasons. I like them over any other wing coaster. Then Shikra's also like really good, but like other than that, like the other dive coasters don't really do anything. So
Yeah,
that's why I like the wing coaster.
That's the problem with the dive coasters. They have a really big kind of gap in quality from worst to best. If I will say, if Tormenta manages to be as good as Yukon, that's going to make a much stronger case for the dives. But like in terms of the dives I've ridden that I like, it's Griffin, Shikra, and Yukon Striker. Valraven, I don't really care for. Dr. D is good, but nothing like to write home about. And then Wrath is okay too. And then we don't talk about Iron Menace or Emperor. I don't care for either one. But yeah.
Iron Menace is obviously the best, of all time.
We said his word.
You said it. You should have.
I knew he was gonna say something.
You guys should make the comp review a stream like this. So my current plan for the review of the competition, the video that will be posted to YouTube is going to be more of like a countdown ranking style video, not like we did for the first time, because I don't blame you guys for not watching the hour-long video. I didn't want to edit it, let alone watch it. So we're not going to do it like that again. What we definitely will do is have the stream in Discord again. Maybe I'll simultaneously stream the Discord live stream to here. That I haven't decided yet. But if you want to guarantee seeing it, join the Discord server, because that is definitely where it'll be streamed. And Vinny is actually one of the judges too.
Yeah, I'd say I was one of the judges for the first one. I'm doing the second one as well.
Yes. So if you want to see if Jason or Zach managed to win or lose miserably, you'll want to tune in and see what we have to say about them. They are both submitting coasters, as you guys should too.
Yes, and you should definitely submit coasters. So we get some actual competition, and Jason and I try to make our coasters even better than they already are.
It's fair.
I'll give you all the worst rankings ever, just so y'all are nice.
All right, you know what? Well, you know what? Maybe it should be anonymous.
It could.
It could be anonymous. Yeah.
Although mine's still guessable.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that like with how at least we're submitting them, Colin or whoever compiles all of them is definitely going to know who submitted them, because obviously in the Discord server, all the Planet Coaster ones are very much there, and their usernames are all displayed and stuff like that. But for the No Limits one,
and the Limits ones are anonymous.
Yeah, well, no, that's not true, because
they could be. Well, not to me.
They could
but
be. Yeah.
Everyone else doesn't know who submits what.
Yeah, I mean, you could just make a ghost account if you really want to be anonymous.
Good.
I might do that.
Has track arrived on site at Great Adventure yet? As of this very second, no. That could change in the next second, but as of this second, no.
At 8:53 p.m. on a Sunday evening in February 2026.
Team 6 is going to come in with a helicopter and drop the crate in.
No.
Like a GTA mission. Deliver the track to Great Adventure. You get Lester calling you, come on, hurry up.
Come on, hurry up,
guys.
Guys.
Had to delay it once. You're going to make them delay it to 28 now. Let's see.
They're going to close 6 Flags Great Adventure.
Oh, no. Oh, wait.
Hey, Hollywood, what are your thoughts on the mock tower? If we're talking about the hypothetical concept that was shared in surveys to Six Flags parks, it looks like a very interesting ride, especially the 400-foot variant of it. It looks cool. I think the stall would be great, especially with the launch in the middle. I think that'd be a really unique sensation. And the tower would probably be really good in the front, because you might get that pop of airtime going into it, and the drop out of it will probably be really cool too. But I think it's a fun ride. Plus, mock spinning coasters, extreme spinning coasters are incredible. So
I was gonna say, if they do top, and you get the
face down
of facing down 400 feet, that's insane. I don't care. I know everyone's kind of crapping on the concept as a whole. I genuinely think that if if a park gets it, that deserves it, I think it's going to be the best coaster at that park, respectively. But the problem is everyone's just kind of crapping on it simply because of all the rumors going around on it. But overall, I think it's an incredible concept and would easily be a star at any park, regarding or not regarding any sort of circumstances of why it might be there.
Yeah, I agree with Dobie. I think the hate on it is a little too overkill. Everyone needs to. This is to everyone that might be watching that hates on the concept. Have an open mind. Nothing's been announced yet. You've probably never ridden a mock extreme spinner. There's 2 in the world. 1 in the middle of Branson, Missouri. Let's not let nostalgia cloud our judgment and just keep an open mind, because heck, the park deserves a good win. It wasn't their fault fully for Ka. Just
What park?
stop hating.
This is just a hypothetical, like from the
This is a hypothetical situation. What are you talking about? What are you talking
about? But just have an open mind for any concept from any park, and don't just have nostalgia cloud your judgment with any ride replacement, because that's just not the right way. Like,
someone play the soundboard of Spin the Ka.
Oh my!
The Spin the Ka is pretty massive.
Here's a question for Jason. Jason, how long have you been going to Great Adventure?
I've been a season pass holder since 2016 and been going since 2007 when I was 3. So a long time, very long time, almost 20 years. So yeah.
I know I wasn't asked, but I'm going to answer anyway. I got my first season pass and visited first in 2008 when I was 2 years old.
I was going to say, for me, my first visit was in 2003 or 4. I rode my first coaster there in 2005, and it was the Mine Train. Then I was a season pass holder starting in 2013, I think. And I'm probably the only one in this call, except for maybe for Colin, who rode Ka without Zumanjaro on it.
I did not.
Okay.
I was too little.
And then I was a season pass holder starting in 2013. However, I was not a season pass holder from the years of 2019 to 2024, or halfway through 2025, because I worked there. So I had a season pass and I got paid for it.
He was just that good.
I was just that good, guys. But yeah, I worked there, from 2018 to 2025, which was, last season. And I had a pass in 2018 because I didn't start working there until October. So
very cool.
I can't remember when the first time I was. I think from what I can remember, the first time I remember is when Green Lantern just got built. But I was obviously scared of rides still then, and I was slowly working my way up. The last coaster I needed to ride there was Ka, and it didn't happen until 2014, just when Zumanjaro got built. It was kind of crazy because I rode Zumanjaro literally right after, and I would always just camp that area of the park whenever I went.
Great story. And another question for you, Vinny, because people are asking about Ride to Happiness being called one of the best roller coasters. Let's hear about Ride to Happiness. I guess it's not your number one anymore.
It was my number one for almost a year. So it's almost a year ago I rode the ride. So it's kind of crazy how time flies. So it's kind of crazy because I technically wasn't even supposed to ride the ride when I went, because it was their opening day and it was scheduled to be closed the whole weekend. However, we had ridden all the other rides and we were watching them do stuff with it. So we kind of just hung around the area to see what would happen. And then they got closer and closer and they actually opened the ride. We ended up getting 2 rides. I got a front row and a back row. My personal favorite is the front row. The elements on it while you're spinning is kind of insane, especially when the first launch and Machs at first were known to not be powerful launches. That was a really powerful launch. As you're you go down that first launch, you'll be spinning and get thrown into an airtime moment, in any direction. It's kind of crazy. And then the elements that follow, with airtime going sideways, you're just spinning all over the place. It's insane. Jason can probably attest with Time Traveler. The elements look like they don't do a lot, but when you're spinning like that, they do a lot.
And re-rideability is a big thing on these extreme spinners, because per se, I was at Sobadala City earlier last year, and I rode Time Traveler 8 times over 2 days. And there's one element on it that's a corked roll, kind of like a 0G roll. And every time you ride it, you can hit it this way. Yeah, you can hit it sideways, you can hit it backwards, you can hit it while spinning fully. Who knows? And if you're spinning out of it, you might hit an airtime moment into that second launch backwards or sideways. So really, the rideability on these extreme spinners is what will make them very entertaining rides for other properties.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I only got 2 rides on the Ride to Happiness. I could have, if I were able to get a lot more on it, I would have probably had so many more different experiences, and it probably could still be number one to this day. Who knows? But even then, those 2 rides I had, it was number 1 worthy for me.
Keep your eyes on Silver Dollar Cities project. Yeah, that one's a bit of a mystery right now. Isn't it being built by Is it by Powder Keg or Wildfire?
Its station is in between Wildfire and Powder Keg. That's what's footers are there and stuff's getting built, and it probably will be something to replace Thunderation if I were to guess.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Thunderation is one of the best mine trains. It's not better than Great Adventures, but it is very good. Great Adventures is unbeatable until they ruin it one day. Yeah, I am curious about this one. Supposedly they're making an announcement at some point, but who knows if that'll actually be for the ride. Let's see. Will the Spire Phantom or will the Phantom Spire? There will be no Phantom Spire. How about that?
Yeah, there will be.
What if the Phantom Spire was just a ruse, just a distraction?
Wait, no. What's the one meme? It's like
there is no Phantom Spire. These are not the Phantom Spires you're looking for.
Okay. Wait, no. I'm trying to think of the GIF. I'm trying to think of the GIF in the Unload server. There is no King to Ka.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there is no Queen of England and there is no Phantom Spire. Yes.
Yeah.
What are the rules for film chain? I was thinking about buying them, but I didn't see a clear answer. Also, how was filming with them on the Saudi trip? So, at the Six Flags chain, as far as I know, you are allowed to film on rides with Ray-Ban Metas or Oakley Metas, whatever camera glasses, as long as they're secured by a strap. That is the information I was given. If it actually is enforced that way by ride operators, that I don't know. It's been all over the place across the chain, whether there's miscommunication across departments or whatever the case may be. As far as I know from PR, you are allowed to do it. So don't flip out on a ride op if they don't let you. Either, well, I'm not going to say that, but either they're misinformed or they were told otherwise. So actually, I guess that's the same thing. As for Saudi, let's see. They have this weird thing where they tell you at a lot of at least the UAE parks, that they don't want you to film at all. And some rides actually don't even let you ride with your glasses, like Storm Coaster, for instance. They didn't even let you ride with your glasses on, no matter prescription, no prescription, glass, camera, no camera, doesn't matter. Some rides were like that. Dubai Drone was another one. But otherwise, they didn't really seem to care. I don't know if they're explicitly allowing it, not allowing it. They weren't very clear. I know at Six Flags Qiddiya, I was with a group who I think 2 or 3 of them had the glasses on, filmed on every ride with them on safely. Of course, nobody said anything, so I'm assuming it was fine. But it's all kind of just up in the air because nobody really knows what the rules are, if I'm being honest.
So with my experience, like when they see the cameras, they'll tell you no because it has a camera. So this is like the UAE and Six Flags Qiddiya. But like Six Flags Qiddiya, it's kind of like if you're in a group already with filming, they're fine. But I guess if you're just like a standalone, like you just have the camera glasses randomly, don't expect like to get on easily with them, and like don't fight them about it. If they allow it, they don't allow it. They don't allow it because like I said, it is up in the air. And I've been told like a bunch of things. It is allowed. It's not allowed. So do it at your own risk. Not your own risk.
I wouldn't even bother buying them right now because the current iteration, both the Oakley and the Ray-Ban versions, suck. They film in a terrible aspect ratio. Mm-hmm. The video comes out fine. Like it's usable. But I feel like they're just kind of using people purchasing the products as test dummies right now and beta testers so that they can figure out what they want to do in the future. And I don't know that they're ever going to get to a point where I would personally like want to own them because like they're good. It's more so like, oh, well, if you want to film on rides and do it in a way that's safe, this is kind of the only way you can, which sucks that that's the way it is. Because, you know, in my opinion, if you have a chest mount GoPro, there should be no issue, but I digress. I personally, like for me, I wouldn't bother because they are not worth it in my opinion, but if you want to, go right ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, as someone who did get to use them, thanks to Jason for letting me borrow them at American Dream, they really aren't that wonderful of a product. Like, yeah, the video quality is really good if you have really bright, like, you know, lighting. And if you're a vertical video poster, like, you know, on TikTok or Instagram or anything like that, then they're great. But for people like, me, Colin, and Jason, who don't exclusively post on vertical media formats. In fact, I don't really post I mostly do long form videos. They're not good. And also, not to mention, you have to constantly put them back in the case. You can't, keep them out or anything. You have to constantly have them charging, or the battery runs out super quick.
Yes.
And as far as as for the original question, goes, they weren't really a thing when I was operating rides. Pivot heads were a thing, and other camera glasses were a thing. And as far as I'm concerned, I never typically allowed them on, simply because I was told, if it has a camera, it can't go on, or it can't be out during the ride, even if it's technically part of the glasses policy. However, as of late or mid to late 2025, I think that rule was changing, simply because their glasses, we have to follow the glasses policy. So that's just what I was informed about, and I was, and I'm sure Vinny will say the same thing. Both him and I were in management at Six Flags. So, I that's as far as I know. But personally, don't buy them. They're maybe if they come out with a much better product in the next few years, I personally would not waste my money on them. I would just rather build my channel up and see if I can just get filming permission.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary there. When do you expect coaster construction to start at Great Adventure? Well, it's already started, technically. If you're talking about vertical construction, I would say very soon. I think if it hasn't already, it could have started for all we know. They have supports on site, like we said. I mean, I'd imagine they're probably waiting for specific supports to arrive, because they're going to erect the coaster in a particular way. More than likely, either starting or ending with the tower. I don't think they'll do the tower in the middle. Probably ending with it. They'll probably do everything else first. That's typically how it's done, at least. But I'd say we'll see it start very soon. And by the time we get on there on opening day, there will be a significant amount of supports at a bare minimum up, I would guess. Let's see. Is there anything going on with Swashbuckler? Genuinely no idea right now. I'm hoping it reopens, but we don't know for sure.
From what we've seen, it is not gone. It is just moved. The ride vehicle, the ride, whatever you call it, the
gondola, I guess.
The gondola is moved to the side, and there is work going on around the ride area. So who knows? It's probably not gone. There is something going on, but there's no boots in the ground, and we won't know till opening day.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely not being removed, because it just would have been already. If that was the case, they're probably, I'm assuming, if anything came from Six Flags America from Riddle Me This, I think they're probably putting but I think the manufacturer still does exist. I'm not entirely sure though. But with that being said, they're probably just, working on it, because that's an easy ride to maintain. I can't imagine they're really going to just get rid of a ride like that when there's really no reason to.
Is it Riddle Me This, like a smaller version of that ride, though? So I wouldn't work.
It is.
They are. I thought they were the same size.
I'd imagine Riddle Me This is smaller.
Yeah.
I would think a lot of the parts, not necessarily directly from the gondola, but everything else from Riddle Me This are probably universal, or at least could be modified to work. But I don't know that they've even touched anything at Six Flags America, because I don't know if they can.
They have not really, besides moving trains.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say another thing.
And Riddle Me This is a completely different company.
Oh.
It's made by Herbits, and it's also permanent installation.
So was ours.
Ours is Herbits?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it has the builder's plate on the side.
All right. Well, they're different models, but who knows?
Yeah. But I was going to say, and also not to mention, Herbert's is an American manufacturer, which I didn't know that. I genuinely thought they were a European manufacturer with that name.
They're American.
Yeah, they're from Oregon. Which I had no idea. With that being said, seeing that they are an American manufacturer and they mostly manufacture fairground rides, I can imagine that the parts are very much, you could literally go to Advanced Auto Parts and probably get like a part.
That is probably true.
Yeah.
What is your favorite land at Epic Universe, and what is your least favorite land at Epic Universe? Favorite, I might get hate for this. It is definitely Super Nintendo World. Oh, my camera's not frozen. Favorite's definitely Super Nintendo World. Least favorite, I probably Ministry, honestly, just because there's not enough rides. There's just one ride. It looks fantastic, But if we're talking about things to do, I'm sorry, I walk in that land, I buy my butterbeer, I ride Ministry, and leave. That's it. Whereas I go to Burke, I got Hiccups, I got Fire Drill, I got all kinds of other things to do in that area. You go over to Dark Universe, you got Monsters Unchained, you have Curse the Werewolf, you have Burning Blade, you have the whole Darkmoor Village. I just feel like once Ministry gets a second ride, it will no longer be my least favorite.
All right, I guess I'll go second. My favorite land in Epic Universe is the Exit, and now Vinny.
Please. Jason, can you just be nice for once?
All right. My favorite land in Epic Universe is the one where I can't see the gold dome on the top of the hotel. So it would be Ministry's land. So there you go.
Wow.
And least favorite?
The one where I can see the gold dome the most, the Dark Universe.
Vinny?
That's tough for me because I like all of them. My favorite, I would have to actually agree with Colin here. My favorite's Super Nintendo, and my least favorite's Ministry, because I grew up playing Nintendo games. That's why it's like my favorite, because not only like the ride's cool there, you can also like play a lot of the games if like the rides have long lines. But then like Ministry, it's basically the one ride, the show, and that's really it.
Yeah. For me, my favorite land is, and my least favorite land is.
Oh yeah, that's a great. I agree. Thank you.
I've never actually been there, so.
And don't.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Audrey and I might go down this year because we might do a little Florida trip after I graduate.
Okay, very cool, very cool. I will warn you though that it's been crazy packed so far this year, and it seems like that's going to maintain for the rest of the year.
Well, we're just going to do a general Florida trip in general, so if we're down there, we might as well go.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss it. Do you think Six Flags will bring back the Golden Kingdom sometime in the future? I hope they do, and I think they know that the Golden Kingdom is by far the best area they ever did, and there's a lot of nostalgia for it, even though it's really not that old. It's only 21 years old, which I guess is kind of old, but like there's so much that could be done with a Golden Kingdom area reborn. I mean, the original plans had Ka getting refurbished and the Golden Kingdom kind of getting a rehab and some new rides and everything, and that would have completely solidified it as the best area of the park with no competition, which it already was the best area of the park, in my opinion. Now we're probably just going to see it sit abandoned for a couple of years until they decide what they want to do with it. But I really do hope that they decide to bring it back, because it is easily the best thing they ever did, that park, in terms of themed areas.
I really don't like Jason's devious look. What is he about to say?
Nothing, apparently.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say Golden Kingdom at its peak, because I saw it as a kid, and like, before they kind of destroyed it. And it was definitely the best area in the park. Personally, I think that now, in terms of actual overall best looks and I guess theming, would be Plaza, before they turned like the arcade and stuff like that into some random maze and kept it there for the entire year. I was not a big fan of that. But with that being said, Plaza is definitely my favorite land because it looks great and the theming is really nice, especially with the music and stuff like that. But I really hope they bring Golden Kingdom back with a true standout attraction. I mean, personally, I think that the Giga concept I made was pretty good, but that's just me.
Fair.
I love that concept that you made. I think it actually fits perfect.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see. Here we go. I always hear people talking about parks adding a Big Bear's mountain style family coaster, and I'm thinking about, what about a Megalodon style family coaster from Gerstlauer? That'd be awesome. I personally have not ridden Big Bear or Megalodon as of now, but I think both show that you could make a family coaster a lot more than just a family coaster. It can be a ride that genuinely everyone enjoys and go beyond just being a kid-friendly coaster and truly be one that everyone in the family can enjoy.
Put one in Rolling Thunder's Plot Land. It'd be perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I have. Wait, Jason, have you been on Big Bear?
I have also been on Big Bear. Yeah.
Okay. Vinny, have you been on Big Bear?
I have not. I've not been to Dollywood yet.
So, anyway, with that being said, I went into Big Bear thinking that I wasn't really gonna like it that much, and I thought it was kind of looked overhyped, but it really is actually an incredible ride. In fact, it actually ended up being my favorite ride of the trip. Now, obviously not the best. I still think Lightning Rod and Thunderhead are significantly better rides. But with that being said, Big Bear is an incredible ride, and if they can make a even longer version at Great Adventure that's like over a mile long and has 3 trains, I think that would be a really incredible addition, and they could easily use the Rolling Thunder plot for that.
Yeah, Big Bear's phenomenal, great ride.
I'm confused by this. Vinny, you don't wear glasses, right?
I don't wear glasses. Yeah.
You must be thinking of a different Vinny.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking of Vinny Viola.
Oh, Vinny Viola, yeah. Or he's or he's talking about me, and he thinks I'm Vinny.
Yeah, that's Vinny now down there. That's
I'm gonna
Vinny.
do this for the rest of the stream.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
No, I can't see.
Okay, here we go. This is a question I figured we'd get. I'm planning to travel to Saudi Arabia for a week, 3 days in Riyadh and 3 days in Alula. So based on your experience there, is it really safe to go there? And is it a tourist-friendly country? I have a feeling I speak for Vinny here. We had no issues, genuinely no issues. If I were to start nitpicking a little bit, in the airport, that was probably the only time I felt like I wasn't fully welcome, if that makes sense. I'm not saying I thought I was in danger or anything, but I could feel the looks and people being who, where are you from? Why are you here? But you're going to get that at any airport when you're dealing with agents who hate their jobs. When you leave the airport though, genuinely met nothing but nice people. They're not nice on the roads. They're actually terrifying to drive. At Six Flags Qiddiya, at every store I went to, everything, just some of the nicest people I've ever met. And the guest service people at Six Flags Qiddiya went way out of their way to make sure we had a great experience. And I don't think that's just because they knew we were Americans. I think they genuinely cared about making sure everyone had a great time. I can't speak for Alula because we did not go there at all. We were only in Riyadh. And I'll be honest, my experience in Riyadh really did not go much further than driving, going to a Dunkin' Donuts at 3 a.m, and going to a McDonald's at 11 a.m. and walking to that McDonald's, which was a interesting experience because as somebody who studies things of that nature, not very walkable at all. I thought I was going to get hit by a car as I walked, crossing streets and everything. But as I walked, I wasn't, I was wearing a Dollywood cinnamon bread t-shirt with jeans, and nobody bothered me. Nobody, they said hello. They were very friendly. So, just wanted to put that out there because I genuinely had a very good experience there.
Yeah. I was we were fine as well. What is it? We stayed 3 minutes from a metro stop, which was perfect for us. So we just walk right to the metro and then just take it all the way down to where we need to and then take the shuttle from there. We didn't really get looks. However, I will say from the hotel to the metro, they're doing construction on the sidewalk we were walking on. So you'd have to sometimes walk into the road. So you'd have to kind of be mindful when you're walking, just look back just to make sure no one's about to run you over, because driving there is the best way to describe it is free for all.
Oh yeah. It's a complete free for all. This is if lanes don't exist.
Oh yeah, lanes don't exist. Sides of the roads essentially didn't exist for a little bit when I was there too. So there was at one point we were on the left side and someone else was on the left side. I was like, what are we doing here? But everyone there, I didn't have an issue with anyone there. But they were all nice, especially Six Flags Qiddiya. They're the nicest people ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously I have not been to Saudi Arabia, but I've actually known a lot about it recently, because back in 2021, when they announced the Qiddiya project, Qiddiya employees actually came over to Great Adventure and worked with us for that year. And so I had a Saudi team member on the Superman crew. His name was Faisal. Super cool guy. He was super fast on the train. He was putting his best foot forward. So if you ever go to Saudi and you see this dude Faisal, shout out to him. He's really cool. Also, not to mention, they were opening up a hospitality school in Saudi Arabia. So they're really actually, not only are they trying to they were just working with Six Flags to figure out things, but they're also doing it so they can bring the information back home and figure out how to do it there. And they were also not just going to Great Adventure. It was a few other big name Six Flags parks too, as well as I believe parks in Europe. And with also that being said, the same year in 2021 at the school, my university, my brass techniques teacher was actually one of the board members of the music education future board for Saudi Arabia. Like they're opening up music education schools. They're trying to make music non-secular and actually like building a pop music industry, build a tourism industry. And it seems like the current prince of Saudi Arabia really has like a really, good vision to make the country one, visitable for other people outside of their own area, welcoming to people who are very much different in culture, and also not to mention make it better for the people who do live there, so they can have a thriving economy as well as hopefully better human rights for all groups of people with all in the next, I think it's 10 years they're looking to complete it by. So hopefully they see their grand vision, and it looks like it's working so far. I mean, Vinny and Colin now have first person experience versus my almost third person experience. So
something else I wanted to mention too is that Darius, who was with me on the group in both the UAE and Saudi, he said that Saudi now is kind of like how the UAE was maybe 15 years ago. And, with that knowledge and seeing how the UAE is now and how, I mean, you wouldn't even think that you would not be welcome there, anything like that. They're super, super nice to tourists, and they're everywhere. There's so many tourists over there. And I think that Saudi is definitely trying to do that as well. I don't know that they'll necessarily have the same success as the UAE because, I mean, the way they built up Dubai and Abu Dhabi is just unbelievable. Those cities are just full-blown flexes. And, of course, they're right on the water as well, which is a big advantage. But I do think Saudi, genuinely, they could wind up being like the UAE if they play their cards right. And I think Qiddiya City is a very good step in that direction.
Yeah, I agree. If anyone does go to Six Flags Qiddiya and on the Falcons flight crew, Khalid, best ride up ever. Because he was the most welcome, he was the most hype, and he walked around with us for a little bit, showing us a bunch of stuff. And that dude is just generally amazing. So if you ever see him, tell him Vinny said hi.
Also want to shout out Habir from what the heck is that restaurant called? Oh my Lord, I can't believe I forgot its name already. The restaurant in the Citadel. What is it called? Not Travelers. It's one of those, but she manages that restaurant, and she went above and beyond to make sure we had a great time. Darius, Gooch, and Zaya, they were trying to decide where they wanted to eat, and Habir practically twisted their arm into going to that restaurant, and they, as I saw the next day, it is genuinely the best theme park restaurant experience I've ever seen. It's literally like if you go to New York City and go to one of those fancy steakhouses, that was that restaurant. I mean, they give you the hot towels after you eat too, or moist towels, whatever they were, I forget. But she was incredible. She went out of her way to make sure we were able to get on the rides we wanted to get on, had a great meal. So when I say that they know what they're doing over there with guest service, I really do mean it.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. That is their main thing. Guest services is their top thing. They are all so super nice. They will do anything they can to make sure you have an amazing time.
Which is something that we don't always see at the parks in the US. So seeing that is their driving principle over there has me very hopeful for their future.
Oh yeah.
Like any country, research the laws and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Obviously they have a certain culture over there. As long as you don't do anything that will overtly break their cultural norms and piss them off, for a lack of better phrasing, you're not going to have issues.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Do you think they will ever build a coaster over the lake near the log flume? No. And the reason for that is because that land will probably never be able to be touched in terms of new development because I believe it's probably considered wetlands now.
It is. It's a wildlife management area. That whole area is now.
Given that that's considered wetlands, they're never going to be able to touch it. New Jersey is very strict with their wildlife preservation, which I'm not saying is a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying that they are. And as a result of that, they will never, ever be allowed to touch the wetlands for new development. That's the way it is. Let's see. Any plans to come to Australia anytime soon? Not anytime soon, but it is on the bucket list for sure. The only thing that scares me a little about Australia is their bugs. I don't like bugs, and I know they have a lot of poisonous bugs out there, so that freaks me out. But otherwise, DC Rivals is calling my name out there. Let's see. Oop, I lost my spot. If you had the chance to go on this trip again, would you change anything, like which parks you went to and where you stayed? Personally, no. honestly, I wish I spent more time doing some of the more cultural things. Like, honestly, my favorite part of the trip might have been the camping oasis experience in the desert. I thought that was incredible. And when I went to the Burj Khalifa at the top, I figured I'd just go up there, look at it, come back down. I think we spent like 2 or 3 hours up there just because like it was just such a genuinely incredible experience. I mean, truly nothing like it. I do wish I got to see a little bit more of Abu Dhabi. I really just kind of stayed to Yas Island. And one thing I definitely would have changed is I would not have done the Stranger Things experience because it sucked. And I instead would have gone back to the W Hotel and stood on the bridge and watched them race at the Yas Marina Circuit. And the Yas Marina Circuit was actually used as a filming location for the F1 movie. So if you saw that, that's where we stayed, literally inside the circuit, which was crazy cool. Vinny, would you change anything about your trip?
I think it was fine, like the way we did it. We definitely left a lot of things on the table, but like that's all the more reason to go back there. So the last day, I was thinking about going to the top of the Burj Khalifa, but that was a lot of money. I didn't end up doing it, but it was still super nice seeing it from like the ground and like walking around the whole area. But like next time when we go back,
go to the top. Go to the top.
That's on my bucket list for next time. Go to the top. I still have a couple parks to visit because I didn't do IMG or Motion. Yay! I left those out because we did like mainly Yas Island and just walking around like that area and like exploring like the malls and stuff. But I would definitely do those parks. I'd definitely go to the top of the Burj and like overall do what you did, like more exploring.
Where would you rank Falcon's Flight on your list of roller coasters? Well, Vinny already told you guys this is number 1. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell you guys where I rank it because I got to leave the element of surprise, but I will tell you it is at least in the top 10. And that's as far as I'll go. Let's see. I'm not going to answer that. Is TMNT Shellraiser as rough as people say it is? We're going to have a lot of different opinions here on this.
Oh, yes, we are.
I'll start. Actually, no, I'll let Jason start. Jason, well, actually, you 3 all wrote it more recently than I did, so.
Oh, okay. Well, no, it's not as rough as people say it is. Is it not rough, though? It has its moments. It has really 2 major potholes that are still on the ride since its reopening. And that being right after the main drop, and there's one in the first half right before you go into the twisted airtime hill. Now, the one in the first drop is less bad at this point because the first drop trims. They've raised the trims, and it really goes very slow through the second half now. But the first half is much better. And really, it really depends on where you sit, because in front row, for some reason, it is mind-bogglingly shakier than if you sit in a back row seat. So I would suggest riding front and then riding back and see what you prefer, and then getting more rides in the back. Honestly, you'll prefer it because you'll enjoy the ride more overall. But no, it's not as bad as people say. People call it the roughest thing in the world. There's much worse coasters, especially technically roughness in that park from Intamin. So yeah.
What is it? I even rode at the same time as you. I only really felt the one pothole, and it was in the front row after the drop. But other than that, the ride was smooth. I didn't even feel the one you were talking about before the twisted airtime hill. I thought the ride was just fine the way it is.
If you sit in an edge seat, you can feel it, but it used to be way worse.
Yeah, it used to be way worse because I rode it before and then I rode it after. But like, yeah, you don't really feel anything. And I've rode it a lot recently too, and I didn't really like.
Yeah, it's been running very good post refurb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was still a big fan of the ride, when it was still rough, but now I like it even more. Is it better than Sandy's? Maybe, I don't know. Depends on where you sit on Sandy's, in my opinion. However, I will say that they definitely slowed down the ride, and it's still really good, and it's still very intense. However, it's definitely not as crazy as it used to be. The first half was like I-305 level intense, in my opinion. When the launch was at full speed, and you wouldn't even now you get like hang time over the inversions. You would actually get like positive G's at the top of the inversions from how fast they went through them. And you would get like ejector airtime over that twisted hill. However, with that being said, the back row is definitely the smoothest row, because of the fact that the front is kind of you'll notice this on a lot of rides that are like have like roughness issues. The front car will always be a little bit more rough than the back car, in my opinion, because it's the first thing to go over that. And so with that being said, it's kind of guiding the rest of the train through it. And you'll notice that a lot on Toro, especially. If you sit in like car 1 versus car 6, car 1 is a lot more rough, in my opinion, than car 6 is, even if you ride in the wheel seat. But with that being said, yeah, it's definitely does not deserve the hate. It's really not rough at all. It's literally just that one bump and that's it.
So I'm on the complete other side of the spectrum. I need to preface that I rode it in March of 2020 and October of 2020. I've not ridden it since.
You have not ridden it in
6 barely
years.
remember it.
6 years.
5.5 years. Almost 5. Yeah.
I will give it credit. It was really intense. I do remember that. But oh my Lord, was it rough? That was I couldn't ride it because it was so unbearably rough. It had the mystery mine effect on my dad, which gave him a horrible headache that he couldn't recover from. And there was no reason. Well, I mean, we know why it's so rough. It's because the idiots paved over the footers with the concrete of the floor. I'm sure that didn't help things. But it was so rough. I mean, I do want to give it another shot because, like you said, I haven't ridden it in 5.5 years, and it's not that far from me at the end of the day. But I'm not a fan because it's so rough. Oops. Do you think Great Adventure will drastically improve over the next 5 to 10 years? Do you think Six Flags is prepared to dump a ton of money into Great Adventure now with the other park closures? I wouldn't say that they're prepared to dump a ton of money in, but I think they know they have to. And one way or another, Great Adventure will get investment. This is obviously the start with the new coaster for 27 and the redo of the boardwalk. But after that, I mean, I genuinely don't know which direction they're going to go in. They've had so many different ideas. But I feel like all of those ideas have now gotten knocked lower and lower on the importance totem pole because they ripped out so much that they now need to replace. So I think they need to start by replacing everything they ripped out, which they should have done as they ripped them out, but I digress. And then from there, in I'd say 10 years, yeah, Great Adventure will be a completely different park and probably be great. But it's going to take a little bit to get there, both in terms of money and time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right with Colin there. They would have to be absolutely like brain dead stupid to not invest in Great Adventure. With that being said, obviously they're still going to invest more probably into Cedar Point and maybe even Magic Mountain. But Great Adventure has one of the most it has probably the largest population center of any park in the country, maybe even most parts of the world. You got New York City, which is already one of the largest cities in the world, and most densely. New Jersey is the most densely populated state. You have Philadelphia. There's other now. DC has one less park, and you have all the people in Pennsylvania and New York suburbs and stuff like that. Baltimore too. Yeah, I mean Baltimore is a city you can't forget. Baltimore probably was the city that was the closest to Six Flags America. That was technically your home park if you were a Baltimore citizen. But with that being said, they'd have to be dumb to not invest in it because, if you put something big, like, hopefully whatever, coaster we get will do the park some good. I don't think it's going to do, unfortunately, as good as it should, based on its stats and what was there before it alone. But with that being said, they would have to be really, really dumb to not invest in the park because if they, you have to spend money to make money, unfortunately. And that's the logic we have to kind of think with Great Adventure because, the new chain is very different from the old chain. The new chain was actually starting to invest in a lot of parks that they knew could make money. Like look, Great Escape. Great Escape is more than likely no longer part of the Six Flags chain. And it was getting a lot of investment as of recently. And it was starting to really see the benefits of that investment. That park was a decent moneymaker for the chain. Great Adventure, up until the last year or two, was the chain's moneymaker. And with that being said, post-merger, if you invest in it, it would probably make as much money, as parks like Kings Island and maybe even start rivaling Cedar Point in terms of the money making, not in terms of the quality or how many guests it's going to get, just in terms of the money making.
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well, honestly. Okay. Rougarou is
bro.
That's a take for sure.
Listen, I love Rougarou, but that's crazy.
All right, so you're telling me, okay, let's assume that number 1 and 2 are Steel Vengeance and Maverick. That means you're telling me that Rougarou is better than Siren's Curse, Top Thrill 2, and Magnum? Really? No.
Hold up, I gotta see.
Top Thrill 2, Sirens, Magnum, Maverick are all better than Rougarou.
By a long shot.
Rougarou is good, but I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, Rougarou is phenomenal.
Rougarou is my second favorite B&M at the park, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, maybe third. I'd probably put Gatekeeper over it. But
I have Gatekeeper right under it.
I would put Gatekeeper as my favorite B&M in that park. Sorry.
No,
then I'd
over Raptor.
I'd put Raptor, and then I'd put Rougarou.
I haven't ridden Raptor in 7 years.
I hate Valraven.
Valraven is cheeks.
Yeah,
it is the worst dive coaster in the country.
It is the worst dive coaster. That thing is awful.
That's coming a lot from the Iron Menace hater right here.
Oof, and I'm looking at a top comment right now. It's saying Millennium's top 3. Oof, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
I don't know if you're not
Millennium might not even be top 8.
All right, that's crazy.
No,
Millennium's 4. Millennium's number 4.
No, because
5 in that park for me.
How can it be 4 or 5? Because we have Sirens.
I think it's 6 for me.
We have Sirens, which is 1. We have Steel Vengeance, which is 2. It's just random. This is not like order. This is just there's Sirens in that park. There's Magnum. There's
Steel Vengeance.
There's Steel Vengeance, and there's Top Thrill.
Like, so here's my official ranking. So first is Steel Vengeance. Next is Top Thrill 2. Wait, no, I lied. First is Top Thrill 2. Then Steel Vengeance. Maverick next at number 3. And then Magnum's 4. Sirens is 5. And then Millennium is 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. I always with all the new rides, I can't keep track anymore. However, my last visit to Cedar Point before this year, Millennium was number 4.
Well, yeah, because there's no Dragster and no Siren.
Well, I've ridden Dragster before, and I thought Millennium.
Dragster's better than Millie.
Way better.
You didn't ride Dragster. You don't know.
But it had to have been because Millennium 4 sucks.
Right.
Kingdom Come was good.
Kingdom Come was better than Dragster, but that's besides the point.
Magnum will always be my favorite in that park. You're not changing my mind.
Magnum is elite. Yeah.
I wouldn't even put Millennium Forest in 6 or 7.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
Here you go, Jason.
Oh, there you go.
All right. We're skipping by this because that is just wrong because there's a worse B&M dive in the country.
No, Iron Menace and Emperor are the 2 worst dive coasters.
Valraven's worse. I think me and Dobie agreed on that, and me and Vinny agreed on that.
Valraven does have a good inversion.
Valraven doesn't have a single good element.
Yeah, it does.
No, that's not true. That's not true. The last inversion is pretty good.
That element literally just screams desperation. I'm sorry, it's like the worst B&M I've ever ridden.
Bro, Iron Menace screams desperation. What are you talking about?
Iron Menace is. Anyway,
Tony was like, "Please give us something," and they gave the worst B&M dive coaster known to man.
I don't want to hear it. No, because you're just wrong. You're just rage baiting me, and you're just wrong.
Okay, Jason. Somebody has a rebuttal to your argument about the mock tower spinner. It's not the model; it's the layout.
I already responded to them.
Great Adventure desperately needs a home run if they're going to be viable in 10 years. Another shuttle coaster ain't it, Chief.
Wait, hold on, guys. Do you guys hear that? Do I hear the ambulance coming to this guy?
All right. I will just reiterate what I said earlier to him. When was this timestamp? Because I'll repeat it.
It's pretty early on.
When was it?
8:55. This was said.
Holy crap!
Wow, we have a lot to go, don't we?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, wait. I'm scrolling up because this has been a long time.
I'll say this. I understand where you're coming from. I get it. We all wanted something huge and crazy, but let's be realistic. Nobody other than Saudi is building something gigantic right now.
Yeah.
And this is probably the biggest we were going to get.
Yeah. I'll repeat exactly what I said. How do you know the layout is even what you think it is? You can infer what you want, but you do need to keep an open mind because you haven't seen a single render for it. You haven't seen a single blueprint released. You have no idea what the theme is. You have no idea what it's going to look like. So how can you hate on something before you've even seen a pixel regarding it?
I do think it is important to keep an open mind about it because there is, there's a lot of variables for this ride and a lot of facts that nobody's ridden anything like it. So, I mean, trying to judge something that's unlike anything ever built is not possible. Just like the people that sit in their chair and say Falcon's Flight looks like crap. If you've ridden it, you know that that's not true. I'll leave it at that. We do have a super chat though. Thank you, Fire. I don't know. Thank you for the super chat. I'm not gonna try. I can't.
Thank you, Fire. I don't know.
Fira. May have missed this, but were you guys able to ride Formula Rossa? Also, will you go to Europe in the summer? Yes, Vinny and I both rode Formula Rossa. It was awesome. I hope to go to Europe in the summer. We'll see.
Yeah, there was some talks with like a couple people that want to go to Europe, so we'll see what happens with that.
As for some more elaboration on Formula Rossa, because I do realize that there has not been a vlog about it yet from this channel, which will come in time. I'm just releasing them in order from how we visited. It was really good. I can't say it's better than Ka because Ka had the better launch. Ka was more intense. And Rossa's layout is a little repetitive and boring after a while, but it has such a great sense of speed, much better than that of Millennium Force. So I have to give it props there. Very, very fun ride.
Yeah, I can agree. Like, was it? But to be fair, both my rides were in the front row, so this could be a little biased. But the launch was crazy in the front. Like, you feel it on your face, and then like, even then, you're still going like 90 miles an hour, and you still feel it, like going through the layout. Even if like the hills, it just gives you a little bit floater. But the whole ride, it's not mainly the focus. The main focus is about speed.
I'll give a little more elaboration on Formula Rossa actually. So I rode 7 times. I rode front 3 times. Back a couple times and then second to back, and it's glass smooth in the front row. But when you ride in the back of a car, so any even numbered row, it's kind of Ka levels of rough. I was very surprised, but like think Ka levels of rough from a few years ago, but throughout the entire ride. So I would come off with a headache when I rode in the back row. But then if I rode in the second to back row, it was perfectly bearable, no problem at all. So if you do ever happen to get there, ride the front row and then ride the second to back row. That's what I would recommend. But the front row is by far the best.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, here's an interesting one. Can you compare the experience between Spitfire and Top Thrill 2? Which launch is more intense? Which do you like better? So Spitfire is really close to Top Thrill 2 in my rankings. Really close. And I think that, Top Thrill 2 is a great ride. But if Intamin did Top Thrill 2 and they had the airtime hill in the middle and, worked their magic, Top Thrill 2 would have been crazy good because Spitfire, for how little it is, it packs such a punch. The launch is really punchy. The little airtime bunny hill, it's nowhere near the level of Pantheons, but it's still good. That spike is awesome. I love the inverted top hat. The hang time you get through it is crazy. And that little airtime hill at the end is also awesome.
The only thing that, what is it? So with Spitfire and Top Thrill 2, they did this, the Spitfire does the swing launch so much better with the airtime hill. The only thing, in my opinion, that Top Thrill 2 has over Spitfire is going down the spiral drop because you're just out of your seat the whole time.
You cannot top that. I'll agree with you. What are your thoughts about the new Verbolten retheme at BGW? I think I don't want to say it's unnecessary because a lot of the effects on Verbolten were starting to go down, and that's a ride that heavily relies on theming. I would have much rather seen them do this to Pantheon and give that theming it's been needing ever since it opened. But I am very excited to see this because it looks like they're actually doing a lot of cool stuff. Some new animatronics and everything.
It makes sense as a park. It's a cheap, less than $3 million renovation you can do in a bride. Advertise it as a new experience. The infrastructure is already there, unlike Pantheon, where you'd have to pour new concrete. It'd be a lot bigger than just installing some stuff in a show building that's hanging from the roof. So it's really just an easy dub for a park to get a little bit of good recognition back from their fan base because everyone knows that theming's gone to crap in recent years. And to the general public, they'll go in thinking it's a new experience. And there you go. You got a little surge in attendance for really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, as Verbolten being one of my favorite coasters, it's in my top 30, has been in my top 25 in previous years. I'm definitely excited to check it out. I loved the original Verbolten theme and just the whole concept of it as a whole. I think it's one of the best night rides you could possibly get of any coaster. with that theming. So if they're gonna make it even darker and kind of more intensive theming than it was already, I can't imagine how much better it's gonna be.
So I don't know anything about it, so I'm gonna go in completely blind. I'll probably end up at the park sometime this year because I always end up in Virginia every year. So I can't wait to see what it's like.
Jason would rather ride Iron Menace than be at Epic.
That is true.
That's a crazy take.
Because if I'm riding Iron Menace, I'm in a good state known as Pennsylvania. So.
No, shut up.
Okay, but you can't tell me that riding Iron Menace tops a Stardust Racers night ride. I mean, come on.
Well, considering the fact that all 3 of my Stardust Racers night rides, none of the train's lighting worked correctly, and I didn't even have onboard audio. Yeah.
All right. Hey, y'all. Do you think that Six Flags will start to add more coasters more often to Great Adventure? I'm hoping for an RMC dual link coaster that pays homage to Rolling Thunder. I would not expect an RMC dual link coaster. I would love to see one, but
I hope we never get one.
Oh, okay. Six Flags is going to have to add more coasters to Great Adventure because they lost a bunch and we need a lot. So I would think they will.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that, like I said, I mean, obviously I would love to see more coasters come to Great Adventure. However, unless RMC kind of gets their stuff together with their engineering department, then no, I would not like to see another RMC at Great Adventure, unless it is a ground up iBox, but even then they can be a little tricky sometimes. Jersey Devil is probably one of the most difficult rides to maintain at that park. And the Raptors in general and the RMC steel coasters in general are just not of high quality at all. The trains are literally like, they're basically like toys. They're not anything good at all.
Not wrong.
The problem with Plaza Bay Carnival is the abandoned Rolling Thunder / El Diablo plot. It looks like
put something there. It literally will solve everything. It would be the best thing ever.
See, what they should do there is they should take the Katoro pathway they built last year, make it not look so temporary, and put a ride there and have it weave around it, kind of Jungle X style, the way that works with around Rapterra or something like that. Because believe me, I loved having the path there in 2024. It was a godsend, but oh my lord, was it ugly! It was brutally ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just walls on either side. It felt like you weren't supposed to be there. But I do hope they do more with that plot. And now that they have all the Golden Kingdom to work with, I hope they do something cool because really the
space to work with over there.
And they'll just be kind of boxed in by the new coaster, which goes further out than Ka. So that gives them a lot of space to play with. Let's see. If you were to bring back one ride to Great Adventure besides Ka, what ride would it be? I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I want El Diablo. El Diablo of all rides ever? El Diablo? No. Well, you didn't say besides Zumanjaro, so I'm going to say Zumanjaro.
I'll agree.
Great American Scream Machine.
That's a good one as well.
Personally, for me, I would like to see Zumanjaro again. And I also would really love to see Rolling Thunder come back. And I'm going to be with Jason too, Scream Machine. I never rode Scream Machine, but that's probably the main reason I wanted to come back. But I would love to see Rolling Thunder come back in a like modern form in terms of like instead of getting rid of it and they didn't RMC it, they had a company maybe like Gravity Group, especially now with the pre-cut track, but Gravity Group come in, reprofile some things, redo some things, and maybe instead of having 3 bench PTC trains, it would have 2 bench PTCs because I'm a firm believer in the like trains that weren't designed for the ride shouldn't be on the ride in terms of wooden coasters because as far as I've seen, all the trains or all the rides that have added on Timberliners and especially Millennium Flyers run horribly when they were designed with PTCs or other trains in mind. So that's just me. But El Diablo is kind of crazy. Cool ride.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I actually did really like El Diablo a lot. I'm not going to lie. It was one of my favorite flat rides in the park. And especially towards the end of its life, when they knew that it was going to get removed, they ran that thing with a super aggressive cycle. I have a video of it somewhere. I'll have to find it.
Didn't it go like 60 miles an hour or something?
I don't know, but like all I know is that like literally, I have a very high G-force, or used to have a really high G-force tolerance, not so much anymore as I've become grandpa age over here. But with that being said, like I remember I was riding it, and my friends across from me really was like
yeah, it was just going like this.
Yeah, and then they hung you up there for like 5 seconds, and then just like, okay, time to go backwards. it was crazy.
Were you able to get Go Fast passes during your visit to Qiddiya? No, actually. They were the way we had to get tickets was ridiculous. We actually had to wind up getting a UK phone number to be able to purchase tickets directly through the park, because that was the only type of phone number that would work with their verification process. And as far as I know, that's still an issue. And because we bought the family fun bundle, there was no option to add on Go Fast Pass. And when we tried to go in after the fact, there was no way to do it. And by the time we got to the park, Go Fast Pass was sold out. So study the school schedule when you go there and see if there's any holidays. If there's holidays, you're going to need Fast Pass. If there's no holidays, you're probably not going to need it.
So the way we did it was we did family bundle for 2 days and Fast Pass for 1 day. I'm going to be honest, we probably could have just done the family bundle for 3 days. We didn't end up eating the Fast Passes because it was dead there. So I would just say, like, if you plan it right, like between like holidays and stuff, like I think you won't need it. You'll be fine.
We have another super chat from Skyrocket. Thank you. What rides do you want to come back at Knott's? Well, Montezuma should really reopen. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I was going to say Montezuma.
I mean, otherwise, what do they even have that's good from the past? Because Windjammer wasn't good. Although Wacky Soapbox Racers looked fun. But otherwise,
I'm sure I know what Jason's going to end up saying for this one.
What?
That they should put the original Ghost Rider trains back on and make the original profiling.
Oh, wait, yes. Why didn't I not think of that? That is the greatest idea of all time.
Yeah.
Jason ruins all character from a CCI. It's just true.
Jason's the biggest GCI hater of all time.
And whoever disagrees with me that Ghost Rider's better as a GCI, the ride's designer disagrees with you. Anyways.
I was gonna say, Jason, coming from my roommate whose home park was Knott's, he's not a Thuzy, by the way. He does think that the new Ghost Rider is a lot better than the old one. So,
but did he ride the old Ghost Rider when it was maintained correctly, or did he only ride it when it was a rough piece of crap?
Well, I don't know, bro. He's older than me, so he might have. But with that being said, it would be kind of cool to see a modern version of Wacky Soapbox Racers come back. I know SNS just introduced the steeplechase model. But with that being said, Knott's really doesn't have any good rides that were removed. That I, as far as I know, it would be cool to see a modern version of Windjammers, but let's just like at that point, it's just a modern racing or dueling coaster.
Oh, we just got a super chat that you guys are gonna love.
Oh God.
Ooh.
Thank you, Colin, for the super chat.
Yeah.
Does Great Adventure have a link to the Amtrak Northeast Corridor? With its location, it would make a lot of sense. If not, someone needs to get on that ASAP.
Spoiler alert. It does not.
It does not. It's close. It's close, but it doesn't. Yeah.
The nearest station's 30 minutes away. There is no connection point. Your easiest way would be to go into Trenton and take a bus.
No. Jason, you're technically wrong. Because
what connection point?
There is a connection point, but it's not from the one you're thinking of.
Oh my God, let me guess. You're gonna say something like take it from the freaking bus station in New York or something?
Well, yeah, that's the thing though, because there are still bus lines from New York. They are all private companies now. NJ Transit does not run them anymore. However, yes, I am a big supporter on the fact that there should be more public transit to the park, not only from New York City, but I also believe that they should run shuttles from Trenton in terms of the train station, or maybe Princeton or Hamilton, because those are all stations relatively close enough to Great Adventure. They could also run stuff from the River Line, which is the light rail line between Trenton and Camden. They should definitely run them from Philly. And then maybe some intercity bus services, like maybe Megabus or Flixbus. They could run stuff from from like DC or maybe other cities and stuff like that. But with that being said, your best bet is to go to Trenton. and then you could just either hitch a ride from somebody you know, or maybe suck it up and get like an Uber or a taxi, which would probably break the bank. But that is unfortunately your only options in terms of Amtrak or NJ Transit trains to Great Adventure. And it's really a shame because back in the late 90s and early 2000s, NJ Transit did a proposal for the Monmouth Ocean Middlesex lines. And two of those three lines, actually no, all three of those lines were going to have a stop in Jackson Township. Wouldn't have been close enough to Great Adventure, but they probably still could have ran a shuttle or something like that. Yeah. And I think Great Adventure should advocate for it. Although I can't imagine with the current leadership of this country, they would company, they would advocate for something like that. They'd probably rather see people who don't want to use public transit to get to the park.
Yeah. They'd probably rather just up the parking prices.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a thing that they could consider if they ever want to, for whatever reason, expand into the parking lot, or they need to close a part of the parking lot due to maintenance or something like that, or maybe make it into some sort of facility like a hotel. They could easily run public transit services and contract out companies. And I guarantee you, with the correct advertising and schedule, the companies would probably make a ton of money off those routes.
Yeah. And as you were saying, probably the best location would either be Princeton or Hamilton, because Princeton is right on 571, and then you have Hamilton, which is just 295 to 195 connection.
You know what? I'm going to say it. Build the Great Adventure Dinky.
Let's do it. The Great Adventure Dinky. I'm all for it. Wait, are we getting to Princeton? Oh,
Take the Dinky.
Take the Dinky. If you don't know, if you're not from Jersey, everyone, if you ever go to Princeton, do not park in that downtown. It is a shit show. Just take the Dinky.
The Dinky.
The reason I said that Jason and Zach were going to get so excited over this question is because they're both foamers or train enthusiasts. So
thanks for the slur version.
Hey, you should also get excited over this type of thing, because that's what you're going to school for.
That is fair. Yeah. I agree that they're definitely, if there was a way I could get to Great Adventure without driving, because I hate Route 9, I'd be all for that. And 537 is not that fun either, especially in Freehold. So I do think that it would help a lot. I feel like Great Adventure just looking at the infrastructure of Great Adventure in particular, it is so underdeveloped in so many aspects. Like, it has not changed since the park opened. Like, they had like the shuttle stop at the front of the park that just kind of got abandoned and stopped using. I mean, you look at other parks. I mean, obviously, I know comparing Great Adventure to Universal or Disney is crazy, but like, they are so ahead of the game. And Disney used to be even better when they still had the Magic Express from MCO, which I don't know why they got rid of that.
I remember taking the Magic Express.
I took that when I was a kid, and it was excellent. So
it's kind of crazy too, because, like, granted, with that being said, Great Adventure actually has probably one of the most walkable parking lots in terms of amusement parks I've been to, because it's all relatively close to the front entrance. And I think even if you walk all the way from Harbor, that's like a 15-minute walk at most. In that case, they do run shuttles out there, but they're not going to be running shuttles into the parking lot because of how close it is. And with that being said, the current bus stop that exists is one of two options. It's either, if you guys are familiar with the park at all, you can look it up on like Earth or Maps or something like that. The strip in between the employee parking lot and the guest parking lot, that used to be like a picnic area. It still kind of is, but nobody ever uses it anymore. Yeah. But there used to be bathrooms over there. There used to be vending machines over there, and there was tons of picnic tables and like little grills and stuff like that you could use. And that is where the bus stops are. If they actually made some sort of bus station, and they could even run it themselves. They have buses and stuff like that. They could charge an arm and a leg for a ticket, and boom, people would probably use it still.
Yeah.
And then what is it? I'll say, like, traveling like internationally and traveling in the States, like other countries, like especially in Riyadh, it's not fully there yet, but like they're gonna get there, because I know they want to build like a high-speed rail from the airport straight to Qiddiya City once it's like fully built, and like that'd like be perfect. And like public transportation will do miles for Great Adventure. I feel like so much more people can access. It can be accessible to with that.
Easily.
And I'd like to see, and like, if they built like a rail from like Hamilton, like a connection rail from like Hamilton or Princeton to like Great Adventure specifically, that'd be amazing.
I'm also, what is it? As someone who has done, I almost did a series actually on my YouTube channel about parks you could visit via public transit. And one of them is Coney Island. My most recent trip to Coney Island, I actually took the train from from Jersey, went into the city, and I took the subway all the way out to Coney Island. It took a while, but it was a wonderful ride because you get to see multiple really diverse neighborhoods in Brooklyn and stuff like that. And it's just slow. That's the main problem because it's a local train. But you get there and it costs you $2 at the time. It was $2.80 to get from Center City, Manhattan to all the way out to to Coney Island, which is crazy.
It's a good price.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Anyways, we've been talking about this a lot.
Yeah, we have. Anyways, so yes, they should do this. Let's see. Question: how long was the flight to Saudi, and how far from the airport is the park? Okay, so from Newark to Dubai. I did not fly Newark to Saudi or Riyadh. I flew Newark to Dubai. Going was about 12, 13 hours. Coming home was about 16 hours because of the tailwind.
16 or 17?
No, we're not going there. So the flight from Dubai to Riyadh, Riyadh to Dubai, it's about hour and a half, 2 hours. And Qiddiya itself is pretty far from the airport. Qiddiya as a park, it's about an hour from Riyadh itself. And the airport, like say Riyadh is here, the airport is like in the upper part of Riyadh. It's kind of detached from the rest of the city, if I'm being honest. The way I see it, and I've said this in a few videos now, I would wait to go to Qiddiya until you can just hop on the metro at King Khalid Airport and take that to Qiddiya City and completely bypass Riyadh. That way you don't have to deal with the driving. You don't have to really go anywhere but Qiddiya. You don't have to make the commute, so to speak, from Riyadh to Qiddiya. Once they have the hotels on site, that's when it'll be perfectly set up. But until then, it's a little tricky. I'm not going to lie.
It is tricky. However, like you just have to like make sure you know what you're doing there, because like look into like all the public transportation options, because I think public transportation is the way to go there as of right now. However, once they like build like the on-site hotels, like I think that's gonna be first, because they made like a lot of progress when I was there, because it's 24/7 construction, so they made a lot of. So like if you like just want to wait until the on-site hotel's there, you will only have to deal with Riyadh going from the airport to there. And then you stay at Qiddiya for a while, and then going back to the airport. That's the only time you'd have to deal with Riyadh. But then once that like that high-speed rail comes in, like that, like I heard it was what they wanted to do, like to get from the airport to Qiddiya in 30 minutes. It'll be a winner right there. It'll be like easiest place to get to.
Yeah. Also, I'm just now realizing that I missed a super chat. I'm so sorry, Brian. Thank you for the super chat. The question is, hi Zach and Vinny, are you returning to work at the park this year?
I am. No. Zach is not.
Yeah. So I quit at the end of the season last year, and presumably for probably not to go back. Not because necessarily I don't want to go back. It's more of the fact that I do have a better job now, and that aligns with the career that I plan on pursuing for the rest of my life, which is teaching music. I'm in my final year of school, so that was another reason I wanted to quit, so I could really lock in. And also, not to mention, like I said, even though Great Adventure was a really fun job, and I'm going to miss having a free pass to a lot of parks, including non-Six Flags parks, it was a hard decision to make. And also, not to mention, I'm really going to miss everybody there. And unfortunately, I don't talk to a lot of people that I consider friends, simply because I don't work there anymore. So that's the kind of the sad thing. But if push comes to shove, I would definitely work there again. And I would definitely want to be back in management. I can't imagine that I'd want to be a team member. Actually, I might want to do that, but things also were just changing a lot there that I wasn't really a fan of, in terms of, I'm now that I'm gone. I hated iRock. I was not the biggest fan of it. We had a lot of changes constantly happening. And I was on the training end of management. So that was not the most fun thing to deal with, in terms of constantly having to do a lot of paperwork, deal with training the team members and retraining the team members in the crew, and even supervisors and stuff like that. So it was overall just like a kind of not the best way to go out. But overall, the team there is still really, really, really passionate about the park. The ride ops team there is really awesome, and I miss all of them dearly. But yeah, Vinny's gonna go back.
Yeah,
you'll still see him there. Yeah, you'll see him. He'll be over by Toro probably.
Oh yeah, I'll be over by Toro again.
And I want to use this opportunity to put the, well, not offer out there, but if any of you guys do have an interest in working at an amusement park, Great Adventure, if you're nearby, is a genuinely great choice. Granted, I have not worked there and I don't plan to. I'm just speaking off the experience that everyone else has, like these two here. And I mean, like any starter job, you're going to make memories that last a lifetime, plus the benefits of getting all kinds of free admission to parks. I mean, if you're an enthusiast, that sounds pretty enticing to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and another thing to add, and I'm sure Vinny can agree with this. In terms of if you want to work at the park, the park definitely needs people who are passionate about the music industry.
Yes.
Because most 99% of the people who work there, and especially in ride ops, are people who have no interest in the industry whatsoever. They might develop one over time. Like, for example, a lot of people in management developed an interest in the amusement industry by just working there and stuff like that. But as far as pure enthusiasts go, you don't want to be like, I'm a coaster enthusiast. Maintenance, give me parts of the ride. But like, you still want to show that you have passion. And you care for the park and such. But listen, both Vinny and I have been those people before, so we're speaking from experience. But with that being said, also not to mention, you will make lots of friends there, and also you will meet people from all over the world, both for guests and as employees, because obviously we have the international programs there, and you will get to experience so many cultures. Specifically, Jamaican culture and Thai culture is usually the big two groups of people we have there. I've learned a lot of Patois from working at the park, which is the language of Jamaican people. So it's a really, really great time, and I highly suggest it, even though I will constantly complain about working there. I still loved it nonetheless, and it was some of the best 8 seasons of my entire life.
We even had some people from Ecuador this year. This past
yes, we
year.
did, and they were awesome.
They were awesome, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm going to move on now to the next 3 super chats. Sorry, guys, for getting congested here, but thank you. Thank you, Colin, again for the super chat. Civil engineers equal best engineers. Well, when I was originally studying engineering, that was my first path. That was the engineer I was going to become. I ultimately decided that that wasn't for me, but yes, I will agree with you that civil engineers are the best engineers. I feel like El Toro needs to be RMC'd. Come at me. Well, thank you for the super chat, Nick's Vlogs, but I'm going to have to strongly disagree with you, and I think almost everybody will.
Except Jason.
Well, yeah, we don't talk about Jason.
Well, actually, I wouldn't say it needs to be RMC'd.
I think it
just needs to be
Just needs to recheck and do some structure.
And new trains, because those restraints.
Those restraints are top tier.
The restraints are fine, but the issue is the trains are so old that every verify on them is all over the place. And
I'll agree with Jason.
Ride it.
No, the trains do need new trains. I'm really surprised that was not in the talks, because I don't know if I should really be saying this on the stream or not, but coming from someone who worked that ride for 90% of my time there, the trains are definitely one of the most unreliable pieces in terms of the fact that sometimes the restraints wouldn't verify, so you couldn't send the ride, and then also not to mention sometimes the restraints wouldn't unlock. So it definitely just needs new trains, and having those new those new intimate trains that Colossus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, having those lights on the seats, or just knowing what individual seats need to be verified, would improve operations by a long shot.
I feel like even then, just having the lights there, so you don't pass a seat and then you having to have to come back to that seat. So you can literally just see as soon as you check that restraint, you look for the green light. The green light's there, you're good to move on. If the green light's not there, you just have to work
this might be different. This might be different with the new ideology of IROC and stuff like that. However, as far as I'm concerned, the original reason we never installed any sort of verify lights on individual seats is because there's the reasoning of safety behind it, which you're probably wondering, well, how? Shouldn't it make it more safe? Yes, in terms of the fact that you will know that person is definitely verified, and you can just easily do it nice and quick and figure out who's verified and who's not. But then there's the problem of operators may skip over the seats that are or not check the seats properly that are already verified, and then possibly push somebody in too hard on the seats that are not verified. That was always the logic that was explained to me by certain people at Great Adventure. But granted, they are no longer in rides management. They've gone to bigger and better things in the Six Flags chain. So things may or may not in terms of that exist at Great Adventure. And that was the same argument against like screens and stuff like that showing the verifies.
I do want to put this out there real quick. At 10:12, I will be closing the chat for questions. That is in 3 minutes. So get your questions in quick. And one more super chat. Thank you, Brian, for the super chat. Colin, did you see that dinosaur closed tonight? I did. I think it peaked at like a 220-minute wait or something.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
I mean,
isn't that ride super high capacity too?
It is.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's great.
Crazy.
And it's a great ride. I would never wait that long for it. But
I waited 15 minutes in November with Vinny.
I was gonna say,
that was the only time I rode it too.
I was gonna say on a slam day, the last time I was at Animal Kingdom was all the way back in 2015. And we went on a slammed day. And I think like Expedition Everest was at like an hour and a half, 2 hour wait. But Dinosaur was at like a 10-minute wait the entire day because of how capacity that ride is. So I can't even imagine how many people were actually trying to ride that ride tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The line for it went from the entrance all the way down to practically Zootopia. So if you know what that is.
Oh my god.
There's a Zootopia section there now?
Well, no,
it's a
Zootopia
ride.
was a Bug's
It's
Life.
like a show. It's a show.
Oh, well, I still don't
Yeah.
even know.
So it went almost all the way down to the base of the tree.
Yeah,
line.
it basically went to the base of the tree.
Whoa! Wow, that's bad.
Yeah. All right, next question. I'm planning on going to Over Georgia. What's the best ride to go on? Well, Goliath. Twisted Cyclone is also good, but Goliath
Flash.
is just the show.
Kid Flash, yeah. There you go.
Also, don't sleep on Georgia Gold Rusher. Gold Rusher is actually a really fun ride. I think I might be the only one here who's ridden it, but it is really fun.
Yeah, I haven't been to that park yet. I wanted to visit it though.
What is a good question coming up?
Let's see. What rides from the boardwalk do you see them removing? Everything that's there except for Superman.
What rides are in the boardwalk?
It's really just
It's literally just Superman.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Superman get ripped to shreds, but it's not going to happen.
Please.
See, if it was my park, I would start at Rita's, keep Rita's, and just plow everything out from there on up.
Colin, you should get in one of those trucks and start going at it.
Dude, I gladly would. I don't even need to be paid. If you let me go to town on Superman and just rip it down, I would gladly do that. But
Travis would not be having a good time if that was happening.
Ride's not that bad, guys.
It's
not
terrible.
that bad.
Listen, I'm the firm believer that if you're gonna keep it around, at least retheme it and do something beach themed. And you could literally easily theme it you could just easily theme that ride by ripping up all the grass, putting sand down.
You could also theme it to like a kite. It's a flying coaster.
Kite
Even
flyer. That's what I called it in my boardwalk concept.
All right, we got another super chat. Thank you, Brian, for the super chat. Colin, Stardust Racers lives up to the hype. I rode it a month ago. Also, when you went to Epic Universe, did you ride Monsters Unchained? Yes, I have ridden Monsters Unchained quite a few times. It was closed on my most recent visit to Epic Universe, but in the times I have ridden it, it was so good. Probably top 3 dark ride for sure. I'm just going to keep gloating about this ride, so I continue to piss Jason off because he didn't get to ride it. But yeah, that ride does make epic. I mean, Stardust is incredible. It's my favorite coaster, but Monsters is like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's my second favorite dark ride of all time behind. The only thing that beats is Rise, in my opinion.
That's fair. Let's see. Oh boy, we got somebody's Cedar Point rankings that are going to anger some of you. Number 1, Top Thrill 2. Number 2, Steel Vengeance. Number 3, Millennium Force. Number 4, Maverick. Number 5, Sirens. Number 6, Valraven. Number 7, Gatekeeper. Number 8, Raptor. Number 9, Magnum. Okay. Wow.
All right.
You're on my list, man. You're on my list.
All right. Magnum, anywhere outside of the top 5 is no longer valid, and I won't even speak to you about your opinion.
Magnum
that's
anywhere outside
bad,
the top 1.
lie.
Yeah, Magnum is like.
Yeah, Magnum should be in the top 3 or top 4. There should be no reason beyond that. Yeah. Anyways, although TT2 at top one, that's pretty good. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Especially after riding Falcons. I don't know if I agree with that. It's still top 5 there, but.
Yeah. Next up, hello George. What are your top 3 coasters on the East Coast that you have ridden? Well, Stardust, Airy Force, and Gwazi. If you consider all of those East Coast, which I would, all those states touch the ocean.
Do they?
I think they do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like with the East Coast, like, obviously you could be defining it as the East Coast, but I feel like Georgia and Florida kind of get paired in with the South and not.
Yeah, I feel like it goes South Carolina to like Massachusetts. That's the East Coast.
The Great
That's
America.
that kind of stretch. Which, if that's the case, then that changes things. Probably 305. Well, definitely 305.
I'm seeing somebody in the chat right now say, sorry, Colin, that somebody said that PA is not East Coast. If it's not the East Coast, then what is it?
Yeah, well, it's Northeast, but
I mean Northeast, but like I don't know. I see what you mean.
It touches a body of water that body of water also touches the ocean. Deal with it.
It's also culture and where it is.
That is true.
The PA is not the
Midwest.
No, that is not Midwest.
Dude, Ohio's not even Midwest.
No. Once you get to like Illinois, maybe Indiana, that's Midwest.
Yeah. Okay,
let's see. Hey guys, my home park is La Ronde, and I'm worried about the park getting sold or getting closed. What are your thoughts on its future? It's not going to get closed. Maybe get sold, but it didn't get sold to Enchanted Park, so it's holding on for now.
As far as I know, that park is, even though it's in shambles, that park is a huge moneymaker. Yeah.
But then again, Michigan's Adventure is also a giant moneymaker, and they got rid of that. So they're willing to sacrifice some of their high performers for the sake of getting some getting some capital. So I don't know. Let's see. Do you think we'll ever see a coaster in North America with more than 10 inversions? I mean, maybe. I don't think. I feel like the focus is family coasters, quite frankly, and like the occasional big thrill coaster here and there. But for the most part, like marketability goes beyond just records nowadays. It's also about just the overall experience. It's park dependent, of course, but I think people are seeing the value of a more themed experience like you get from Universal or Disney, and parks are definitely trying to cater to that more so now than ever. So I don't know if we'll ever see that, quite honestly. Maybe.
I was going to say, I feel like in terms of the U.S. Or Northeastern or North America in general, as far as I'm concerned, we're probably not focusing on any sort of inversion coasters anymore because I feel like with the introduction of ride center lines like designs, so like RMC and Chance Rides and stuff like that, anything from Joe Draves or Alan Schilke, they both have a very like idea of they don't want people to get sick. They want people to re-ride the rides. And inversions, unfortunately, make people sick. Same thing with positive Gs, which is why a lot of RMCs, up until Joe Draves, RMCs didn't have a lot of positive Gs. I think it was also, so yeah, we're mostly seeing family coasters or like just some like slop airtime coaster. Like,
slop airtime coaster.
Yeah, where it's just like for example, I feel like Steel Vengeance kind of started that slop airtime movement where it's just like, we'll see how many times we can do these little bumps that like barely give you airtime.
He's not wrong. He's out of line.
It. Steel Vengeance is in my top, but half the ride is slop. It's RMC slop.
Wow. He's out of line, but he's right.
That is wild. You're gonna get a lot of hate for that in the chat.
I can already see it. It's already coming.
Listen, Steel Vengeance is like, I think it's in my top 5 RMCs, but that's about it. It's like, it's at the bottom. Okay, Mike, shut up. It is slop.
Mike, shut up.
I'm specifically calling out Mike. I don't care anybody else except for Mike.
It is slop. It's clubby. I don't even think it has one. Okay, that's one good element maybe, but like no great element. It's
it has a few incredible. Okay,
bland.
The first half is incredible. The second half is slop.
The first half is fine, and the second half is repetitive slop. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. All right.
If King's Dominion decides to add another new thrill coaster in the future, what coaster would that be and why? It should be a mock extreme spinner or a tilt coaster over the water.
They could benefit from some sort of hyper.
Well, since they didn't get a really big boost in attendance from their recent coaster, I don't see them getting another new coaster for 10 years. So maybe they'll get a new model we don't even know about yet.
I will say,
an Axis coaster or something.
A tilt where Anaconda was diving into the water. Oh,
good. Honestly, doing like Anaconda 2 or something like that. Literally, you can make it have the exact same layout as Anaconda, but like Vacuumified, and it would be great.
That's true. That is true.
How do we do that now?
There you go. There's a video idea for you.
Yeah.
That's interesting. There are rumors that the dark ride building where Europe in the Air / Battle for Ira was might be reused in 2027 and be a main focus for BTW's next new attraction. Did any of you actually ride Battle for Ira? I did.
What even is it?
It was a VR, like a VR flying theater kind of thing. Well, not a flying theater. It was just a theater where you put a VR headset on and your chair.
I think I know that. I think because the only reason I know what that is because there was an El Toro Ryan like Coaster Idiots vlog one time where he was like, "Is this going to be better than Fortnite?" And that's the only reason I remember that exists.
It was that ride was actual slop.
Yeah, it was not good. My dad does not do well with VR headsets. I do remember he'd be like, "This ride sucked," and ripping the headset off and just watching. What they did is they had the screen up with like the 3D version of it, so you could at least watch that instead of watching with the VR headset on. But it was so dumb; it was a waste. It could have been so much better. In Ireland, at least they do have one good ride now at Finnegan's, but they could use another really good ride. And I think you could do such a cool ride theme to like Leprechauns, like a dark ride style ride. So hopefully they do something cool.
Yeah, as far as I know, that the main rumor is a mock flying theater right now.
Oh, that'd be great. But like, if it's like Green Lantern at Warner Brothers, then it'll be great.
It'll probably be the same model as Odyssey, but it probably will be CG, so it will automatically be better than whatever footage they have playing at that park.
I do need to pause for a second. Now that we're talking about flying theaters, Green Lantern at Warner Brothers World is one of my favorite rides ever. It was so good. So good. I hate flying theaters, and Green Lantern knocked my socks off.
I still can't believe you hate flying theaters. It's just like a bad
it's like in my top 5 for dark rides of all time.
Oh yeah, the effects. Well, not even just the effects. It's the dynamicism of the ride vehicle is unlike any flying theater ever, and the visuals were so good. Love that ride.
I love it as well.
Honestly, the best ride at Warner Brothers. Let's see. We already answered that. Okay, Colin, I'm getting confused with the Six Flags app now. When I try to upgrade my pass to Diamond, it only says Prestige. I have a Gold right now. I'm really confused. That is because they do not sell Diamond passes anymore. So I can explain this to you properly so you don't get confused anymore. When I'm talking about Diamond, Diamond Elite VIP, those are legacy memberships along with Platinum and Gold Plus that were sold prior to 2022. That was the last time they were sold. When Celine came in, they stopped selling those, but they never became invalid. If you kept paying for them, they kept working, and now they will work at Cedar Fair parks as well. You cannot buy them anymore. The only passes you can buy are Gold, Prestige, and some parks offer a Silver Pass. So if you are trying to upgrade your pass from Gold, it's only going to allow you to go to Prestige because it's the only other tier that exists. So hopefully that helped. Oh, this is a good question. I don't know if you answered this. Can you talk about the visa process for Saudi? That's the issue we've been having. So I think I mentioned this. UAE, you do not need to purchase a visa. It's included with your plane ticket. Saudi, actually, no, let me see if I can find the website for you guys right now, since we do have a little bit of time. The website sucks. I'm not going to lie. It's really, really slow.
There's 2 websites. One's through the UAE, though, and one's directly through Saudi. So
I would not do the one through UAE because it's way more expensive.
Yeah, it's way more expensive. That's the one.
The one I am sharing right now, this is the one you're going to go to. It's visa.visitsaudi.com. So you'll go in, you go to apply now. And like I said, the email verification process does take a little while, but it's only, I think, $107 I paid for that version of the visa. I mean, you're going to get the same thing anyways. It's just a matter of saving money. If you want to save $100, suffer through the annoying email verification process and just do it directly through Saudi. Hollywood, do you do park meetups? Like when you pick a date to go to a park and meet fans there? Yes, we actually just did at the end of Great Adventure season. Unfortunately, it kind of got screwed up at the end because the park closed on the day we were originally going to have it. So we had to switch it last second to the last day of the season, I think it wound up being. We also did one in 2024. Typically, we do them at the end of the year at Great Adventure. Maybe I'll change it up for 2026. We'll see. But typically, that's when you're going to see them. Let's see. Will you go to Aquarabia if it opens? Well, it's definitely going to open. I think it's opening in March. For those of you unaware, that's the water park next to Six Flags Qiddiya. One of the 12 theme park projects I think they have at Qiddiya City. It's insane how much they have going.
12?
I'm pretty sure there's 12.
There's a lot they're doing over there.
There's there's a Dragon Ball park. There's going to be Universal. I feel like they said Legoland. There's a whole bunch. There's so many.
Wow,
and a lot of them haven't been announced yet.
They're going to build the whole area up.
It's going to be like Abu Dhabi on steroids, or Yas Island on steroids, essentially. Plus the F1 track.
So speaking of Aquarabia, like driving by it, like when I went recently, it's almost done. It looks insane. Yeah, I was almost thinking just to go back for that, but I might wait for the on-site hotel. Only time will tell, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if I can bear going there again without an on-site hotel. I'll lose my mind. Besides Great Adventure, Carowinds, and Magic Mountain, which other parks would get additions for 27? Fiesta is getting one. They've already started teasing, but that's not a delay. That one is set for 2027. I feel like there's another park that's been teasing, and I'm forgetting. I don't know. It'll come to me. I know Wonderland originally announced a water ride for 26, and I guess that's probably just not going to happen at all now because they're still riding the Alpenfury wave. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know you mentioned in a previous stream you want to change up the content. What about a 4-park one-day challenge in Disney? I just did that, actually. I did that in November. So if you go through the vlogs playlist, you will find that. And that is actually the last question. I just realized, wow, what do you know? Let me get rid of that banner. So yeah, unless you guys have any other things you want to add before we end off the stream, that is the closing question there. I want to thank you all for watching the stream. Thank you three for participating. I'll let you guys all plug your socials, starting with Vinny, then Zach, then Jason.
The one social right here. That's all I really do, and you'll find me on everyone's channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vinny has been in now quite a few of my vlogs, and also most famously the Flash. The Flash Media Day footage. That was actually Jason's Media Day footage. But Vinny and I just went and he let me use it.
I was working at Sesame Place, so
shout out to Jason for always just letting me mooch off of his stuff. With that being said, yeah, follow me at Radzap Productions on I mostly do YouTube stuff now. I kind of stopped with Instagram because I'm not gonna lie, any meta platforms kind of just cheeks nowadays if you want to get good engagement. And I tried TikTok, but I don't know. I don't like TikTok. I never liked it, and I really especially don't like it after a lot of things have been happening with it. So yeah, Jason.
I'm Accelerated Creative. You can follow me at this stuff here. There you go.
Well, guys, thank you all again for watching the stream. Be sure to follow all these guys. If you enjoy, be sure to comment, and subscribe. See you all in the next video. Good night, guys.